Good afternoon to all my wonderful viewers out there, and welcome back to a new series called Interview. The new series where I'll obviously be interviewing people that have footholds or interests in the streetwear, sneaker, and fashion world. And in today's video, in the first video, I'll be having a chat with the streetwear designer that goes by the name of Seaggs. But before we dive into that, guys, I just wanted to say thank you guys once again for the continuous support, because we were able to reach the subscriber milestone that I set for April, which was 2,945 subscribers. We smashed it. We got past it, guys. We're almost at 2,950. And once we hit 2,950, I'll of course be updating the little milestone badge that we have there. Hopefully, with your continuous support, we can reach the new milestone of 2,950 subscribers before the end of April. But I just wanted to take a quick moment out of this video to say thank you guys for the continuous support and helping me reach 2,945 before the end of April. But let's get into it. So how did this interview / chat all start out? Well, what happened was that Seaggs posted on his Instagram story that he was interested in doing a interview with anyone that had any amount of viewers / audience. He didn't really mind too much. There wasn't a minimum required. So I put my hand up. I messaged his Instagram and said, hey, yeah, I'm interested in it. Can we set up a time? So we set up a time, but I didn't calculate the time zones correctly. And it ended up, being at like 7 a.m. in the morning, which is why I'm a bit of a zombie at the start of the video, but I do perk up a little bit later. Yeah, I should have set it for a later time, but I was like, I've kind of like already said, yep, let's do it this time. I can't really back out now. Big mistake. Should have had a couple more hours sleep and then actually like been alive. But yeah, this was my first time ever, I guess, interviewing someone. I'm looking to do that more on the channel. I want to talk to people that either make or are interested in streetwear, make or are interested in sneakers, and the same that are in the fashion world as well. Just so we can, have a chat about various different topics on the channel in this new series. I have never done it before, as I just mentioned. So this first interview kind of goes from interview to casualized chat about streetwear and, starting a brand, what to look out for when starting a brand, talking about blank hoodies and where to get good blank hoodies from, and just everything he's working on and upcoming projects. We covered so much and talked about everything. So yeah, it did lose focus very quickly, but I don't know, it was a lot of fun, and I still felt like you guys would enjoy watching a conversation between someone who's into streetwear and someone who literally makes streetwear and has a brand. So I thought, you know what, we can't just delete the footage and forget that it ever happened. I think you guys would enjoy it and maybe get, some pointers out of the video if you guys are interested in starting a brand. So yeah, I thought it would be good to still at least upload it and provide that content to you guys. So we'll head on over now and you guys can start watching the interview, but more of a chat that I had with the streetwear designer, Seaggs.
For speaking with me.
Thanks for coming on. So we'll start off with, tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you?
My name is Jacob Siegel. I live in Huntington Beach, California, and I own Seaggs Rendering Co., which is like an embroidery, screen printing kind of clothing brand. And then I have a second brand called Magdalsade, which is a little bit more focused than Seaggs. It's more darker, medieval kind of theme, and it tells a story through animations and clothing.
That's news to me about the second brand. I didn't know too much about. Is it Magdalsade?
Exactly. Yeah, Magdal, like dull, like a dull knife.
Yeah.
Magdalsade.
Magdalsade. Okay, that's gonna be a mouthful, but I'll try and remember it. So
yeah, it's a made up word. It means nothing.
Okay, there's not some secret meaning or something behind it or anything like that. Okay.
Well, when I first found the word, it meant nothing. But then as I made the brand, it's like, okay, I can apply meaning to it now that I've made stuff for the brand. So it's a made up word though. So that's the main thing I was trying to say.
And you said that it's medieval themed in both story and graphics. So how do you apply story to pieces of clothing? How do you do that?
So there are elements. So the story, I didn't fully write 100% of it yet, because since it's a story with a clothing brand, you would want a clothing brand or your business or whatever to be indefinite. You want it to last as long as you possibly can, but a story has a beginning and an end. So I kind of have to do some things to elongate how the story is told while still like being fresh and like exciting, I guess, to the viewer to see
Yeah.
it. So it's not like I'm telling the story with like words and shit on the clothing. I'm using elements that already exist in the story, like the medieval imagery or like different knight stuff or text or whatever, and then making just cool looking pieces that way that are complementary to the story as a whole. So there was like a long thing that happened like 2 years ago, and it was like an experience that I've gone through and some other stories I've heard from like close friends, and I kind of packaged them all into like this one story, made it like digestible for a consumer, packaged it to where you could like look at it on Instagram or the website and just have an affinity towards it, or just enjoyable, just making it packaged where it fits into like not streetwear specifically, but just where it matches where I could make a clothing brand with it where it doesn't seem too weird. Because I've never seen any clothing brand tell like a story. There's
No.
like, there's like founders, like our founder story. We started in like 1950s and my father
Yeah.
grew tomatoes. Yeah, like a founder core values, mission statement and stuff. So I haven't really seen a story. I'm sure it exists. I just personally haven't seen it of like a character, plots, settings, and
Mm.
it's like a linear thing. So I have to like post and sell the collections in a certain order because that's the way the story goes.
Okay,
So it's something. Yeah.
and it was more something. It wasn't. You were saying it wasn't like a direct story. It was more something like an overarching theme of characters and I guess sets or locations that you'd put in the style of graphics on the pieces, right? That's kind of what it was more
Yeah.
like. Instead of like a
So
direct story, like a, as you were saying, start to end movie. It's more like an overarching thing, like I don't know, The Simpsons or something, where there's an overarching.
exactly. Yeah, I use The Simpsons in some of the other interviews I've done, or whenever I talk about this, I
Mm.
do use The Simpsons as an example because
Yeah,
each
well,
episode has like its own mini plot, but in the long grand scheme of things, there are elements or story characters, whatever, that appear in certain episodes and it continues the longer part of the story.
mm,
So
mm.
I have like animations that I've made using like Illustrator and After Effects, and I have these little journal entries. So the animations talk about like the main theme of each chapter or collection. So the last one was called Inauguration. It was when Sade, the main character, got knighted. He became like a knight.
Mhm.
The next one I'm releasing soon in May is when he joined something called the Castle Corps, which is just like some infantry knight academy in the kingdom that I've just fucking made. And in the fourth collection, he's going to be king, and it gradually goes along this linear path. And then the journal entries are I have to tell you like the premise of this story. Okay, so real quick,
Mm.
because when I start talking about this, sometimes I don't fucking stop. But
Well, it sounds like you've got really in depth for this. Like,
yeah, so and it's just like I've only posted like only 2.5 collections so far. So everything I'm talking about, it doesn't mean anything until like I post it, like I actually materialize it. So it's
yeah,
just me
yeah.
spitting shit out. So the main premise is Sade Magdalsade. Sade is the main character. He became a knight. He was a good knight. He became a king. He was a great king. He left the kingdom. I'm doing like the arc of like the story. So he was a
Yeah.
knight and then a king, and then he left the kingdom because he became like a corrupt king. And then like the townspeople were like, we don't have a king anymore, so we don't. No one can protect us. So they all leave. They destroy the kingdom because they're like, what the fuck happened to our king? And they left. Sade comes back and he's like, what have I done? My kingdom is destroyed. I'm alone now. I'm reflecting. I need to rebuild my kingdom, but I also have to rebuild myself and how I view being a king. And it's like the inside needs to shine before I anything else. And this whole thing. So the
You,
journal entries are yeah, it's a lot of just shit coming out of my
I
mouth.
was thinking,
So
well, you're going to represent all that through clothing and journal entries. That is
so
very
that's
hard.
so the first collection was the premise, which
Yeah.
is that's the general plot of the story, and then collections 2 and onward expand that, and then I look at it piece by piece. So it's just like here's the whole story more or less, and then I kind of expand it from there and look at it. So the journal entries are day-to-day thoughts and writings of
Mhm.
when Sade immediately comes back to the kingdom. So he's like, "Oh, I gotta." This is just like a monologue, like narrating, like, "Oh, I gotta clear debris from the guardhouse, and I'm trying to rebuild the wall that was destroyed." And it's like there's different things he goes through as being like this regretful, lonely king, and he's just day by day trying to improve himself, improve the kingdom, and then it's like this personal growth thing. Sounds kind of cheesy, pretty cliche, but I think it's a good point where people can like relate to it. Not like Depends on the person. I'm not. They can't directly relate to like being in
Being a
a
king
strong,
and
yeah, like being in like the strong position of power and then losing everything. But people can experience like little micro experiences similar to that. You have something and you lose it, or you're maybe not in the best place you want to be in, and then you gotta help rebuild yourself in some way. The clothing doesn't get that cheesy and sentimental. Like it can. There are some elements that I haven't talked or like released yet, but I'm trying to at least not build like Disney is fantastic because it builds a world like with movies and amusement
Mm.
parks and music and so many different touch points for consumers. And with Magdalsade, I'm trying to hit these different touch points. So it's like it's too early to call it a world, but it's just trying to
But
make
you're
it like
building one. You're building one.
yeah, I'm trying to build like this scape of like how people can like interact with the brand. They get the animations if they want, or the journal entries they can read, they can follow along from the
Mm.
beginning of my Instagram, and they can wear the clothing too if they like the way it looks.
There was that premise. I've never heard it being done in streetwear or clothing before, but I have heard the premise being done in music. There is a couple of music artists I can think of that there's an overarching theme for the concept of
Hmm.
all their music, and then there's characters reappearing. But you wouldn't
Do
know
you
it
know
unless
who?
you looked into it. Do you know Pilot? Pylot?
No, I don't.
So they are a synth wave. I would say synth wave. So kind of like that Terminator, Cyborg, like 80s dystopian sound. And
Yeah.
there's an overarching character that appears in all of it. And on his website, just like you were saying with journal entries, there's journal entries for the characters, and that's how all the songs link together. So because the genre is electronic, you don't
That's
have
cool.
him speaking or a character speaking in the music, but there's ambient sounds in the background that links like where he's traveling because his character is a
Mhm.
futuristic motorbike rider. So you can hear like all the
Cool.
locations he travels in the music. It's really in depth. That the idea with Magdalsade is definitely making me think of that, but in clothing form, which is
So
crazy stuff.
yeah, have you ever heard of Porter Robinson?
Yes, love Porter Roberts.
So yeah, so your story with Pilot made me think of he first made his like old Spitfire album. It was very dubsteppy.
Mm,
I guess he was like the first person who made or coined like complextro, like not
mm,
like dubstep and house together, but lots of like different sounds back to back to back.
yeah.
And then he transitioned from the dubsteppy, grosser kind of music to uh the World's album where it
Yeah,
was
it's
more
more.
beautiful.
Yeah, he's
So
more
I saw
beautiful
that show
electro
live. It
stuff.
was awesome. That album tells a story. Like near the end, it has like that female vocoder
It
voice
does,
saying
yeah.
like he was like telling his following like, I hope you guys still like me. I'm not doing the like really intense, gross dubstep stuff anymore. I'm like transitioning to the beautiful stuff. This is my journey, and I'm getting little goosebumps here. But like
And
I
yeah,
fucking
I
love
know, no, it's amazing, and it did have its longevity. Like everyone refers to worlds instead of his earlier stuff than that. So
World. It's so good.
friends of mine have seen it live. I would love to see him live. That would be absolutely, and seeing worlds would
So
be awesome. But yes, okay, wow, we got a little bit off track on that.
yeah, that's all good.
it's
Yeah, I love this like organic little like tangents, just conversation that happens. Like, yeah, let us talk.
But
Let
let's
us
go.
have conversation.
Yeah. Well, so you have Seaggs and you have Magdalsade, and it definitely sounds like Magdalsade is very, very focused on an idea. But backtracking to how you first got into making clothing and getting into streetwear, how did that all begin?
So, I love telling the story because I've just told it so many times, like,
Just
in
like
all
have
the
it written
interviews.
down.
Yeah, because it's like it's interesting to see how, people get into whatever hobby or passion or
Yeah.
interest they do. Sometimes it's random, other times it's like, I wanted to make money or I wanted to try. Anyway, so it happened in 2016.
Hmm.
And this is like real quick, in like the last month, this is like the 10th time I've told this story because
Uh,
everyone who wants to interview is like, so how'd you begin? And it's like,
you
well,
have to
here we
ask
go.
it. You have to ask it. Where
Yeah,
did the humble
but
beginnings happen?
exactly. Yeah. Gotta get every platform the intro to see so they know what's up.
And
Okay.
then we
So
know if you're lying because now we can go look at 10 other interviews and see if there's a
I
change
guarantee,
in the story.
I guarantee you all of them are exactly the
Okay,
same.
well, it has to be true then.
Yeah, okay, so it was in 2016, and I have a lovely aunt on
Mhm,
my mom's side, so my mom's sister, and she
mhm.
has, like, a bunch of embroidery machines, sewing machines, sergers. They added a whole room to their house just for her sewing. They have, like, a library
Really?
ladder that, like, slides on the shelves to, like, get so fucking
The
cool.
different
So
threads, or like what are you sliding around to get from this room?
so it's like connected to their bedroom, so it's
Mhm.
like a big little wide doorway to like the sewing room. There's no door. And she has lots of bins of like fabric or like machines she's not using. She puts them on a shelf and then just bins and like embellishments and accessories. Just I'm looking up as this I'm looking at it, but it's like everywhere around like
That's
just
crazy.
on the wall. So I had this idea for a birthday gift for my friend. His name is Nick Lombardo.
Mhm.
It's relevant to the story. I don't want to put him on blast, but that's his name. He's a real estate agent, and I wanted
Mhm.
to, like, a month before his birthday, I texted him and say we were talking about real estate, and I was saying, like, "One day you wanna own your own real estate firm, what would you wanna call it?" And he said, like, "Oh, Lombardo International would be cool." And I'm like, "Okay, good to know." So I had this idea to put Lombardo International on, like, a nice, like, windbreaker kinda jacket thing.
Yeah.
So I went to my aunt, showed her the design. She digitized it real quick, embroidered it. She also embroidered some other shirt that had like an inside joke on it. And I gave it to him for his birthday and he loved it. Like if you're ever stuck, like from me to you, if you're
Mm.
ever stuck with like getting a gift for someone, a friend or family, custom embroidered anything is it's so great. It's so cool. People love embroidered like gifts. It's fucking amazing.
I can imagine
So
that, yeah.
he absolutely loved it, and I kept going back to my aunt for other gift ideas for friends or family or projects for myself if I wanted something on a shirt or a hat. And then after like a month or so, she said, like, if this interests you so much, why don't you get your own machine? And I didn't think that far ahead. I didn't
Mm.
think this was like an interest for Jacob, like for me to do.
You were
So
just
she
like,
sent me,
I'm gonna make some for my friends. I'm just gonna make like
yeah,
hilarious little
I just
inside jokes and stuff like that on pieces of
Yeah,
clothing.
I just thought embroidery was like a cool medium for just to put graphics on, put text or whatever. So she sent me an eBay link, and I got my Husqvarna Viking Designer SE. So that's the only machine I've been using.
Mm.
I got on eBay for like $900. One thing that I actually didn't mention in the other interviews because I just didn't care to say it, but
Mm.
um, when I bought it, I got like an eBay bot. Like it was people were bidding on it and I wanted to win. So there's a little bot you can download called eSnipe, like eBay letter E,
Yeah.
eSnipe, and it like bids at the very last second. So I input like the price for it and then the bot went on its way. The bidding ended and I lost. My bot did not fucking get the machine. So I go downstairs and tell my dad like we because he knew I was buying the machine. He was helping
Mm.
me out and I said the sniper, the e sniper,
The E
the e snipe,
sniper failed the
didn't
snipe.
he didn't get the machine, and he's like, oh yeah, I bought it. So my dad,
Ah.
so well yeah, so I gave him the money, but like he beat the fucking bot somehow.
Was
So
he
we got
botting? Was he just like
no he has like a mouse and keyboard, headphones on, like I'm gonna get this
like
shit.
ready to go? Like that.
He's getting all sweaty trying to like get this shit on time. So I received the machine December 21st, 2016, and
Okay.
I've just been messing with it ever since. So just I started with like shirts and then hats, shoes, and then I eventually got to hoodies. And
Mhm.
then there wasn't like a day where I was like, this is a business. It was just me having ideas or in
Over
my
time.
embroidery software gradually. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
would make one of one stuff. I put like one graphic here, sell it for $50, or I put like maybe three embroidered graphics or appliques on a hoodie, sell it for
Mhm.
$90. And I slowly but surely got a following, did Facebook, Instagram ads, got
Mhm.
on some like archive pages, and just gradually built the following.
You
Found
mentioned
local
that.
manufacturers, found
Um,
overseas manufacturers, and then here I am today. So that's how
the
I started. That's the whole story.
Yeah, the archives thing, I think that definitely hit home for me because I think that's how I found you. I think it would have been something like Hoodie Archive or something like that that
Yeah,
caused me to
probably.
find it. And I think I want to say it was a white hoodie with, I want to say, eyes and stars, or I think they were stars embroidered onto it. I think that might have been the first piece that I ever saw.
I've made lots of stars. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it's your IG logo, isn't it? It's
I do. There are a few anime eyes I've done, so I'm trying to think. Because like usually when I do anime eyes, it's on a
Mm.
white or a cream hoodie, just so
Yeah.
I can keep the black outlines. Because if you
Mm.
have like a black hoodie and you're doing like eyes or like a human figure, then
Mhm.
the outlines have to be white or some other color, and it
Yeah.
just looks. And I'd prefer it to be black outlines.
Yeah.
So
Would
very
you?
well. Yeah, I post a lot of stuff on Reddit and Hoodie Archive for sure. Hoodie Archive and Avant Space were like the main two that I use.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay.
I'm glad my promotions worked then.
On
They really
IG,
are.
it was on IG. So there you go. Now you know it was IG. So you started out by making clothes for your friends in 2016, and then finally got your machine towards the end of 2016 in December. So would you
Yes.
say that in 2017 was when you first started doing it for more than just your friends, selling it on the various different platforms and
Yes. So the first time when I was before my machine, it was mostly for gift. Like
hmm
I didn't get stuff embroidered like I'm just gonna be a gift giver. It was like someone's birthday came around, it's Christmas time, I gotta think of some ideas for a gift. Oh, the embroidery never fails. So I kept going back to her. So
mm.
as like, years as a year would go by, I would, have a birthday for or birthday anniversary for different
For
people.
a
So I had a
different friend or
constant
something.
stream of like, yeah, of ideas. So when I first got the machine, it was still like a learning phase. Like learning the machine is easy. You can like master the machine in like 2 weeks, but it's the software that takes
I could
forever. It's
see
like
that.
learning Photoshop, Illustrator. It's like it has its own mechanisms and shit in the software. So that was like the longest time. So I would make stuff for friends, but it's like you don't know what you don't know. So since I'm the one embroidering and like doing the software,
Mm.
the people who know I do that, they want like a little shirt made, but they don't exactly know how it's made. So
Yeah.
my friend's like, "Can you make me like a giant like cherry blossom tree?" And all I was thinking of like my hoop, my embroidery hoop is not that big. It's
Yeah.
only 9 inches. I can't make it big. Plus, do you know how many fucking flowers
I
I
was
have to
thinking that
embroider?
as well. Like the thread
That
count, like
it
just
would
for a
take,
little tree. Like
yeah,
that's
it would
crazy.
even if it was like fucking even if it was like 5 inches long, like really small, if it's a tree with a bunch of leaves and flowers, that could easily take over an hour, hour and a half to make it look like an actual fucking tree with
Tree.
different colors, bark, petals, fucking whatever.
Because it's not
And
like
it's, I would
a
say,
solid shape or something like that. It's got little branches going off everywhere and everything like that. The
yeah. So,
detail.
and they want like, I want this super big embroidery on a t-shirt. And I embroider hoodies because it's a thicker material, so there's less chance for like the fabric to wrinkle or
Yeah, I
stretch
was gonna say yeah.
as the thread, as the needle and thread pulls the fabric every which way.
Yeah.
So high density graphics on a t-shirt, that's just wrinkle city. So I
Yeah.
would prefer not to do that.
You'd have
So
to
my
yeah.
friend would ask me like, "Can you make this?" And I'm like, I would prefer not to." He was like, "What? You can't make it?" I'm like, "No, you just don't understand like the stuff that goes into it. There's things that the design will come out good if you can choose the best option, the best material, the best kind of graphic, and all this different stuff. So for about a year and a half, it was just me learning like don't use shirts as much. Try to go with hoodies. Use a different
Hoodies.
stabilizer. Try to do this instead, and it's just big learning stuff.
And
Year and a
that
half.
is that why you always were hunting for the latest blanks or the thickest blanks and things like that, purely just because the snagging, the wrinkling of the material happened a lot less because it was
Yeah.
a thicker material.
One if the hoodie's like so a basic hoodie that everyone uses is the Gildan 18500. It's like
Yeah, it's the
$9, $11.
yeah,
What, you
yeah.
have one?
What I
Okay.
was thinking, I
So
have the Kanye West Kids See Ghosts merch, and I think that's on a Gildan 8500.
really?
I
Wow.
I was shocked because I paid, I don't even know, it was something I bought it from his store, but it was like
Is it thin? Is the material
uh
kind of on the thinner side?
definitely around the cuffs it is. It is a little bit thicker, probably around the torso. So I don't know. Maybe it's not the 850, but it's definitely a Gildan. Um, and I was kind of let down by that. I was like, oh man, we don't even get the Yeezy quality hoodies. We get like a Gildan with an amazing print on it that it's just not gonna last.
Happens. Because it's also because like
Mm.
consumers don't know everything that goes into a brand or business making
No.
something. So
Yeah.
if a consumer, like a normal person, hasn't felt a Gildan versus LA Apparel versus AS Color versus all the other brands, when they get a hoodie or a piece of clothing from a brand, they already have an affinity. Like you already like Kanye West, you already like Kid Cudi, you already like the music. So when you receive the hoodie, you're already going into it in a positive mindset. Like I spent money, I'm getting these cool graphics from like these cool artists I like. So even if the quality isn't amazing, if it's really shitty, then it'll bring like the excitement down. But
That's
you're already going into it with a positive state of mind. So you're not going to be super let down. So
mm,
whether you have an amazing quality blank or a middle quality or low quality, you're still kind of going to be happy with the end thing. So over time of learning the software and the machine, I've been wearing a hat all day. I'm just keep fucking up with my hair. Okay. So as I've been learning the machine and software, and um, I started with Gildan, like everyone does, and
everyone
then you
always does.
gradually learn different blanks: LA Apparel, AS Color, Original
Mm.
Favorites, all these different stuff, and it led me to make the YouTube videos about it. I don't know if you have a question about that, but I made like the comparing
You did,
blank.
yeah, yeah. I watched that. Yeah, a couple brands, especially even local music artists down here, use AS Color, so I'm very in touch with AS Color. I think I even have a few back there that are AS Color. I don't mind them too
Good.
much. Yeah, I think for me, definitely LA Apparel and Rue Porter and whoever Supreme contacts for their blanks. They're probably my top three favorite. Just that like really rough, um, heavyweight cotton fleece. That's probably my favorite. French terry isn't too bad, but those would probably be my preferences out of the three. And it was really interesting watching a video, especially your videos that were talking about the blank, because I was like, it was way more in depth and it was way more interesting. Because a lot of the time, I don't know if you've watched a lot of blank YouTube videos, but they're always just like, it's heavy. It's cotton, and I'm sitting there like, is it French terry cotton? Is like, what's the GSM? How heavy?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking here?
When
Um,
I was before I made the YouTube videos, I know the YouTube videos existed.
mm,
Um, I went into it thinking like, okay, great, it's more content for me, and I really wanted to get that YouTube money, so I wanted to start,
at
hit the
30 cents
criteria
a thousand views or whatever.
exactly, making $1 a video.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
hitting the subscriber criteria and like the watch hours, and
uh,
I knew that I had a good little like mental catalog of what hoodie blanks, shirt, sweatpants, whatever blanks. I could make a video on them and show them to whoever wants to watch them. So in the videos that do exist, you can type in like best hoodie blank, what hoodie blank for brand, whatever,
mm,
and they're all like 90% of them are just a guy standing there in front of like a clothing rack, and he just holds it up like this is 14 ounces, this is blah blah blah. You spin it around, and it's just them talking, and you can like scrub through the little timeline at the bottom of the screen.
mm.
It shows a little thumbnail of them, and it's just them just not moving, it's just staying there. So I thought, okay, I can immediately do better than these people, because if I just put my height and my body weight in the corner
Mm.
of the screen and then just put on the clothing, do some spins, raise my arms, show the hood, just show how everything moves on the body, I feel like even if I'm reviewing bad blank, well, they're not. Some of them are bad, some of them are good. But even if I'm reviewing not the best blanks, it still shows people like this is how they would fit. So even if someone like maybe someone likes the way the independent trading co hoodie, the hood lays on their head, but they may not like the sleeves, but they can see that because I'm wearing them
Yeah,
and
of
they want a
course.
longer sleeve. So even if they don't use the blanks that I'm showing in the video, it at least gives them some insight into what they're looking for in the future. If they want to do like a cut and sew project, now they know I can buy an LA Apparel. I'm impersonating the person who's watching the video.
Mm.
So I like the way the LA Apparel hoodie fits, but I don't like the hood. I don't like the hood. It's very short. So I would buy an LA
Does it
Apparel
only come
hoodie.
up to like here, like just past the ears or
Yeah,
something like that?
it's very shallow, and
I'm
I
I'm
thought
more of
that
a. It has to engulf your head. That's my
that
ideal hoodie
yeah.
when it comes to
So
hoodies and stuff like that.
I thought LA Apparel had the worst hood, but there's another brand that has an even worse hood where it's like behind the ears. It's like
That's
you
not
lay
a
the hoodie.
hood. That's not a hoodie.
It's like a fucking yarmulke. It's just
Yeah.
sitting on the top. So you would lay the hoodie down like sideways on the floor or the bed or whatever, and
Mm.
I shit you not, this hood is probably like 4 inches. Like like if you lay it
Whose
down
head's that
flat, it's
covering?
what the fuck. I DM'd these guys. I emailed them like, hey, I love your clothing. I love this other hoodie you make, but this one hoodie you make, the other one, you guys need to improve or increase the hoodie. They never got back to me. As a
Mm.
consumer that supports their brand, I like one of their products, but the other one I don't like. I wish I did like it, but it's just it, that one part of the hoodie ruins the entire experience. Just that
Yeah, of
one
course.
3 inches just ruins.
It's interesting that there was an inconsistency between their products. I would have expected that they would have all just had the same hoods, or all gone
Oh,
for, yeah, ones that cover the head a little bit more. And I
it's like
think,
if you're operate. Oh,
yeah, well, I think when you were showcasing them on body, that's really handy because a lot of blanks also come for, I wouldn't say different body types, but they fit very differently on body. Like some of them are very long. I found that the
yeah,
independent ones are because
yeah,
brands
they
like,
are.
yeah, like brands like Antisocial Social Club and stuff like that that I've bought in the past, they used independent. I don't know which model in particular. It's quite thick, maybe a medium.
The IND 4000 is 10 ounces, and then their IND 5000 is like 15, 16
I
ounces. So
don't
if it
think
was
it.
really,
I think it would be like
if
10.
it,
I don't think it would be
okay,
like 15 or 16, but they're very long. They're like
yeah,
incredibly long, and that was a big turn off for me on those
yeah,
blanks in particular. Because like when I bought them, I'd be like, oh my god, it's like a dress. It like comes all the way
exactly.
down,
I
and
think AS Color is kind of long
they
too.
are. Yeah, I've got two of them, and I was thinking the exact same thing when I wear it. It's like super, super long, like unnecessarily
I
long.
just cut, I just cut the waistband right at the seam just to shorten it by
Really?
like 2 inches.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably the smart way to go. Yeah. Okay. And you don't use a specific blank for like Seaggs or magdalsade, do you? You like change. You go from different blank to different blank depending on what you
For
want
the
to do.
one of Yeah, so for the one of one stuff, well, recently I ordered like 15 made blanks. I'm actually making a YouTube video for it not right now, but
Mm,
I wrote a script for it. But the recent blank brand I found is Made Blanks, MADE,
mm-hmm.
and it's like wholesale, $18 for a hoodie,
Ooh,
and the hoodie's 14 ounces, so it's as
ooh,
heavy as the LA Apparel hoodie.
yeah, that's like a really good price
I don't
point.
know how they, I don't know how they get to that price point, but it's fucking fantastic.
And it's
And
100% cotton. It like has a nice fit to it. Have you tried one on?
yeah, so I'm gonna wear it in the video. The
Yeah.
hood is a little big, which is fine. Like
Mm.
it engulfs your head, which is nice, but like when you put it on, I feel like the bottom of the hood connects like an inch lower where it should. I just feel like there's a lot of neck showing. That's not a make or break for me. It's just
Mm.
something I'm observing. They have like $15 sweatpants, 14 ounce as well,
That's
and
crazy. How they're not
the
making money
other
on that? There's no way.
they're So the 14-ounce hoodie, it's called their varsity hoodie. It's $18. Their other hoodie is called the recess hoodie, which has no drawstrings. That's the one with the fucked up hood with like the 3 inches. And I
Yeah.
would use that hood. I would use that hoodie every single time for every project if they improved the hood. That's what's stopping me
Yeah,
from using
because
it.
I mean, I don't
Thank-
mind no drawstrings. I actually think it looks kind of nice on some hoodies, depending on
Yeah,
the fit and color of them. But that's, yeah, that's a real bummer about the recess one. Maybe they were trying to go for like a sportier look. I don't know. Over like a.
they fucked up. They screwed up.
I'm trying to justify like the 3 inch hood or the 4 inch hood. I can't think of a reason on why they would use it. So you, yeah, for your one of ones, you used, what was it? It was
I would made blanks. So recently I got
made
like
blanks. Yeah.
15 stuff. So sometimes like blank vendors, they're not really big, but like some blank vendors. There's one called like Circle K, Circle Clothing. They
Uh,
reached out to me and said, "We saw your YouTube videos, and we want to send you a bunch of hoodies." And I said,
mm,
"Great." And they sent me a bunch of XL hoodies, which is fine because my YouTube videos show that I'm a size XL,
of
but it's
course.
not my one of one stuff. Because whenever I have blank hoodies, I'm gonna do something with a one of one for them in some way or another. And it's not ideal because then I have like 10 one of ones, but they're all size XL. I would like to like space out the
Yeah.
sizing a bit for buy it. So I tried cutting the bottoms and making them shorter in some way. Like, oh no, this is an oversized large or something, trying to hit the. But for the actual bigger releases for Seaggs and Magdalsade,
Mm.
I do use made blanks. I did use Independent Trading Co. for the longest time. I switched to AS Color for a bit. Now I'm doing made blanks. For t-shirts, I use AS Color Staple Tee, the Classic Tee, the LA Apparel Yukon Army tee. That is the best t-shirt I've ever fucking felt. The Yukon Army tee. It's 8 ounces. The description is like this is like an old t-shirt you'd find in like an old army surplus
That's
supply
what you
store. And
want, though. That's exactly what you want. Yeah.
it only comes in one color. It only comes in heather gray,
Um.
which is like an athletic kind of neutral kind of color, which
Yeah.
is fine. Depending on what graphic or theme you're going for, that would be perfect. But oh
It
man, if they
limits you.
had that shirt in color, I'd use that shirt every single time.
I think you
So
definitely, if you're like a blank brand, you need to like tick off the three, like white, black, and grey. But just having it in grey, I would have expected white being their only color. But
yeah, some brands just sell white, but it's ready to dye. So once you buy the blanks, you can go to a dye house and then they'll dye it whatever color you want. But
mm,
those seem to be like for the more luxury kind of blanks where the minimums are higher because they expect that you have the capital to buy a shit ton of blanks
but like a
and then
hundred
pay
of them,
to
yeah.
get garment dyed. So I know Made Blanks does that too.
Have you
Maybe not.
ever dyed any of the blanks before working on them?
I've never gotten I have done dyeing before. It's kind of like tie dye, but I've never had a white blank and then 100% dyed it to be like a mint green or like a
Mm.
magenta or mauve or whatever weird color that I couldn't find in the market. The only dyeing stuff I've done is like for like tie dye kind of patterns, and then I would embroider it after.
Because there's not a huge market for like tie-dye hoodies and stuff. But there's probably not
Mm.
a lot of people asking for them either.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really tie dye. I don't like calling it tie dye because I didn't tie the clothing up, and it doesn't have like the, most tie dye is like a spiral effect or like
Yeah,
it's like
it's
a raise of something. My thing is you prepare the garment in a special solution called synthropol and soda ash, and it just helps the dye stick to the clothing more. Just stay in whatever. You soak it in that stuff for a bit, and then you scrunch it up, and then there's a method called ice dyeing. So you get ice cubes, you put the ice cubes on the clothing, and then you sprinkle powdered dye on top.
mm-hmm.
And depending like how much ice you use, where you put the
The
dye
ice and the
or
dye.
what you put, as the ice melts, it carries the dye down, and then the dye powder mixes with the melted water, the
Wow.
melted ice, and then it like I put it on like cookie baking sheets so like gravity can help pull it down, so it makes these weird little milky cloudy gradients and little stuff. So I've done
I've never heard
I've
of
done a
that
couple.
dyeing technique before. That's really crazy.
Yeah,
Just
I I was trying to replicate the dyeing method another brand did called Advisory Board Crystals. I spent like
love
2 weeks.
ABC. ABC's awesome.
I was I was obsessed with how they did this specific dye method. Like for 2 weeks, I just could not do anything else except keep practicing and experimenting dyeing shit every day. And I found a YouTube channel called the Tie Dye Hobo. He lives in
The
Hawaii.
tie dye of and lives in
Yeah,
Hawaii.
he looks like a hobo, just disheveled, and he has like a little dyeing studio in Hawaii. And I messaged him and I showed him some pictures and videos from ABC, and he
Mm.
said, "Oh, you should try this ice method," and it worked. And it was like the hobo helped me from fucking Hawaii
From Hawaii. And, okay, so you're on the assumption that ABC then uses the ice dyeing technique for
for a fact. Yes, because there were things that I did during the ice. So like in anything with learning a new trade skill, machine, whatever. As long once you get to like learning the basics of how anything works, then you can experiment from there on. So
Mm.
I learned the basics of how to dye. Then I would experiment with like, okay, what if with black dye, like the color black, if you like sprinkle it like 5 feet up from the hoodie, it'll fall down and it'll kind of spread out. It'll sprinkle it, it'll fall down, and then there'll be little particles of black and red, yellow, and blue. So I guess they use a bunch of different colors to make the black.
Mm.
So as I would sprinkle it from like a certain height, I'd get little speckles, little um imagine like I sprinkled it right here. There'd be like a little cluster of like red, yellow, blue, black, and just little speckle stuff. And I was like, "Oh, I've never seen that before. That's a cool little sneeze, little splash
Mm.
effect you can add anywhere." And then like a weeks later, ABC made some other tie-dye pants and they had the same speckles, and it's like, "Okay, they're definitely using powdered dye." So I know they're using the ice dye method. I don't exactly know how much ice they're using or how much dye or if the clothing is on like an incline or a decline, if
That's probably their
gravity's
trade
helping.
secret. That's the thing that you've got to like do heaps
Some
of research to find out.
there's like I know there's probably one other step they're doing that's making their shit turn out like it is that I'm missing. My stuff still turned out cool, but it's just not quite there yet. But I think it's fine. As long as I got the method down, I'm comfortable not copying it exactly because I know the idea of like how they made it. So I'm chill with that. When I did the sprinkle powder thing and I saw them do it, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm doing that too.
You're doing
That feels good.
that. Well, they've definitely found a niche with doing their with their crystal dyes and things like that in the market. Do you think that there's a huge value for startup brands to have something like that? Have something so unique that you can be like, oh, that's definitely their work. That's nobody else could copy that. That's exclusively them. That's how you recognize them on Instagram and on all the archive pages and stuff like that.
What is the question, like a small brand having something
Have
that
yeah,
different?
having a niche or something like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It doesn't have to be dye, but I get what you mean. Like when I made the dye stuff, people would be like, "This is so cool," and then they would tag me in ABC videos and be like, "Yo, are these guys copying you?" And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. They
ABCs
did
are
it
the
first.
originators. They were the guys
No,
that
no,
did.
no. I saw it from them. Then I was transparent. I explained it to them. I saw it from them first, and then that inspired me to learn how to do it. So no one owns the method, but if
No.
you're like one of the first person to do a certain method or design or thing, then you can be known for that. Like there's a designer. His name is a Ryder, Jebediah Ryder. He's made like hoodies, like blank red or black hoodies, and he had like horns coming out of the hood. Or he had a hoodie where the kangaroo pocket was like a monster mouth, and when you unzip it, a long tongue comes out.
That's really
So
cool.
totally useless, but it looks dope. It's just like a cool little thing to differentiate his products from another person. So when
Yeah.
other brands started putting horns on hats or hoodies, they're like, "Oh, you're just ripping off Jebediah Ryder." I don't think he was the first person to do that because I faintly remember seeing like if you look at children's clothes, that can actually inspire a lot because children love the full zip hoodies with
They
like
do.
the Spider-Man mask or like the Deadpool face. Some of them actually have had like teeth coming out of it. There was like like Alien versus Predator. I don't know why children were wearing this, but it was like a full zip Predator hoodie and it had like teeth coming out.
Okay.
So that maybe he saw that. I have no idea, but that's like another thing. Like whatever you do, you may not be the first. You may be the first in your market to
Mm.
show it to that demographic, but it,
May not necessarily be the first of all time to do it.
yeah. So you take it with a grain of salt. Just yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, essentially,
Yeah,
just
having your
practice.
own. Yeah. Do you think focusing on something like having a niche, either graphic wise or like you were saying with the horns or the things like that, is that more important than a consistent like GSM quality or a certain blank quality that you're using? Should you much more focus on having a really good quality hoodie starting out or really good amazing graphics starting out to really like pull people into your brand and get people talking about it? Because
I think it depends.
like Antisocial Social Club managed to pull so many people in, and they use like I'm not gonna say horrible blanks, but like from price to blank quality, it's like kind of grim. And they were
Yeah,
charging like big money for it, like 60
yeah.
US dollars or something for it, and it was like a $10 independent or $15 independent or something like that.
I think it depends on what the brand is or business. Well, I guess in this
Mm,
case, a brand is clothing.
yeah,
I think it depends on what the brand is trying to do and what their
direction is.
brand positioning. Yeah, what their brand positioning is, who they're trying to attract. So
Mm,
if you're hitting like the more I don't want to say luxury market because I just think of Gucci, Louis Vuitton, but if you're hitting the more like higher price points, like 70, 80, $90 for a hoodie, the quality should be exceptional and the
mm,
graphics should like match that. Like there are brands that have like super busy skeleton, death, fire, barbed wire graphics, super busy, and the shirts are like 25 bucks. Yeah, the t-shirt may be decent. It's not shitty, but it's not amazing. It just depends on the crowd you're attracting and what your brand stands for. It's kind of it's cliche, your values and your core
yeah.
beliefs and your mission, whatever you the brand is like, whatever the brand believes in. I mean, ideally, it'd be good to have good graphics and good quality, but it just depends what you see or what the consumer perceives as like a good graphic. Because I
Mm,
feel like seeing the graphic as good or bad is more subjective than feeling the
the
quality of the
quality.
hoodie. Because the quality of the hoodie, someone will say you can have 10 people say this quality is really good, but then you ask those same people, and then half would say, "Oh, the graphics cool." No, the graphics sucks.
Sucks.
So
Yeah.
it really depends on the person who's receiving the hoodie or whoever's looking at it on Instagram or website or whatever. Both
They want to be
important. Yeah, they're both important for their own reasons.
different
So
reasons.
when
You
you're
can't
just starting out,
prioritize one or the other.
yeah, like you can again, it just depends. Like if you have like a $3 t-shirt, a $10 Gildan hoodie, and you're just starting out, that'll be fine. Like your graphics will be just starting. Just get your graphics on the clothing. Just
Mm,
you can't perfect everything. Just get your shit out there, and then over time the graphics may improve, and then as your budget increases, then the quality will improve,
mm.
and then you'll be exposed. If you watch my videos, you'll be exposed to better and different clothing blanks, and then you can increase your little, mental arsenal catalog of what blanks to get from. And then now you're spending, $6 more for a hoodie blank, but you're charging $15 more, but the
Mm.
graphics are still more or less the same vibe or feel. Just yeah, just depends on the brand, depends on the people, and that's pretty much it. Because I mean, the premise of your question was like if you're just starting out. So
Yeah, if you
if you're
just
just
starting
starting
out.
out, you can't be too picky. It's just
Yeah.
whatever you can afford.
So you would say, if you had to give like top three things for someone starting out, one of them would just be like get some done on whatever's manageable cost wise,
Yes.
with like hoodies and stuff like that. Like get some graphics on the hoodies and things like that. What would be some other things that you would say to people starting out besides just like just do it, just like put it on some stuff and get it out there?
Um, it's a really loaded
It's
question.
it is quite loaded.
Are you talking about like material things or like things to think about? Like, I would say be patient. That would be one thing for a brand. But in terms of like, I guess, material or like actual things for a brand, you don't need a screen printing press. You don't need an embroidery machine. It would be nice. It would be really beneficial to have those because then you can make your own samples and then you can experiment and know more about the application process. Or if
Mm.
you have the budget, find a local printing embroidery place. And I would say like what was the question again?
Tips for starting out. Three tips for starting
Okay,
out. Yeah.
okay. 3 tips for starting out. I would say don't overprice your shit in the beginning unless it's like
Unless you're
really,
using
really good
crazy
quality.
blanks or
Yeah,
graphics and
like
stuff like
when
that.
Louis Vuitton was making their trunks, however many decades ago, it was expensive because they were already high quality shit.
Yeah.
So don't price your shit at $35 a tee if no one knows your brand
Mm.
and if your graphics are just a name or if the graphics look like
It's just a
everyone
logo or
else.
something. Yeah, it just looks like something.
Yeah. So be realistic, know your worth too, have the confidence, but like be realistic in like the resources that you have access to and like what you're bringing to your potential whatever consumer. Be realistic.
Mm.
Being patient is also good. This is not a quick. Some people get into streetwear because it's like quick, easy money. They just go on some vector website, get a subscription, and just download a bunch of skeletons or fire or whatever. And then
Mm.
they have
Get it
a buddy
printed
or
or
something.
yeah.
I've seen brands. There's two that I can think of. I'm not going to say their name, but there are people that they grew super fast because they had a friend who was like a stylist for a rapper or like they're like a DJ for someone, and it's like they're getting all that publicity because of their famous friend, which is fine. Like everyone comes from different environments and experiences, so you take advantage of whatever resources and luxuries you have. Which is, I would do the same thing if I
Mm.
had a famous friend too. But then they're making clothes that are like average, and it's like, okay, I guess that's the way the world works.
You're
You
just
know,
making me think of V-Loan. I'm like describing it that way just makes me think of V-Loan.
sure, yeah.
Um,
Who's the I I don't know too much about them. I know what they are, but
mm.
doesn't ASAP something?
Yeah, so it's run by ASAP Bari, and he is good friends with ASAP Rocky, with Playboy
Mm,
Cardi, with all those huge guys. And as you were saying, like the
easy.
famous friends would just wear it, and appear in like photo shoots wearing it and stuff like that. And then everyone came to it like years and years ago. That was definitely one.
Antisocial Social Club. I think he made. I saw a little documentary on YouTube. A dude was like shitting on the brand, and I'm like, this looks entertaining. So he made some like basic hats and a shirt, and then there was a picture of Kim Kardashian wearing the hat, like super early on in the brand's career, and then that just made them blow up.
Well, yeah,
So
it was the Kanye effect for them as well, I think, because there's an iconic photo of Kanye wearing their Mind Games hoodie, which is just a black hoodie with the white logo on it. And I think that was around like 2015, 2016 when they were just starting out, and that just propelled them. They just grew overnight because of that.
and
Um,
I'd always see like comments about their shipping
oh,
being super shitty,
oh, yeah.
anti-shipping
Anti-shipping shipping
club.
club.
They did a collaboration within the year, last year or something. I forget with which. delivery company, but they did a
DHL.
collaboration.
DHL.
DHL.
Yeah.
And I looked at the comments. I was like, Hype Beast posted it. I'm like, oh, I gotta see the comments. And all the comments were like, yo, this can't be real. Like, this
And
ship's so slow. And maybe that's why they collaborated with the shipping company. It's like, we gotta boost our shipping times. This is the way to do it.
I think it was that appeal through satire clothing. I think they were trying to do
That
that.
would have been actually, that's kind of a okay, actually, I pull back my comments. That's actually a good idea. People
Well,
were shitting on you for something, and then you collaborate with a company that excels in the thing you're shitting at.
yeah. I think,
Okay,
well, that
that's
was my take on it.
that's
I
pretty
thought it was more of a smarter take on it because they were doing that and everyone was skipping over the facts. But it got everyone talking about it because everyone was like, oh my god, they're doing it. They don't ship, they take forever to ship, and they're collaborating with a horrible shipping company. Oh my god, how could they do such a thing? And it caused.
DHL is DHL horrible? I don't know.
I thought DHL was alright, but I don't know. I've looked up DHL reviews every now and then. It's not too good. I don't know why.
I
Personally, I've never had
I
any issues
I
with it.
know it's good for international. Like whenever I
Yeah,
get samples or bulk orders made overseas, it's always DHL. So I'm
yeah,
sure they have better international
I
rates, but
think
I've
they
never
do.
used them domestically.
And I think, yeah, internationally, I've always had my stuff arrive either on time or earlier with DHL. I think they're actually quite good. So I don't know. Maybe there's issues domestically or something like that.
I wiped my camera, but then it got blurry.
They got
Okay,
off.
never mind. We're good.
So yeah, three things to start off if you're starting up a brand. Three tips. You'd say patience, know your worth, and
Get started. I don't know.
get
A great
started.
tip.
Get
Just
started. Patience and know your worth. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. How did
or like
you?
be realistic. Like be self-aware of
Yeah,
like your position, in the market.
realistically, when you don't have any followers or anything like that. Yeah. How did you know your worth when you started out? How did you like gauge a perfect price for your hoodies and tees starting out? Was it purely just based off like cost price? Did you just do like 2x whatever the cost price is and you were like, that's the price I can charge? Or
So
did you give
what I
yourself an
did
hourly rate?
yes. So when I did in the beginning when I was doing one of one stuff and I
Mm.
wasn't like a business yet, it was just a dude
You
making
were just
things
like,
with
just after like doing things for your friends, it was like
yeah.
2017, just starting out. Yeah.
Yeah. So my method, which hasn't changed a lot, changed a little bit, and other things, because now that you have a name, well, Seaggs doesn't have a name yet. It's just
I
it
don't
has
know. You got
a big
13K followers. That's a bit of a name. That's a bit of a like.
sure. It's just a so in the beginning, what I did was I used Gildan,
Mhm.
like $9, $11 hoodies, or Independent Trading Co. like 14, $15 a hoodie.
Mhm.
So this is how I would think. I would think, I still think sometimes. What I would do is with my machine and the software. It's a specialty skill, so it's not a skill that everyone know. I didn't even know how embroidery was made or designed before I went to my aunt and she helped me.
And she
So
showed you, yeah.
I saw it as a specialty skill. So I tried to charge myself like 25 to like $35 an hour, just depending on how complex the design was, how many hours I put into it. Sometimes I would just like if I was really screwing up a design and I had to start over, I was like, you know what? I spent so much time on this. I'm gonna be paid $38 an hour. So I
Oh,
would just
okay.
increase it a little bit. So depending, like a hoodie usually would take 2 to 3 hours. I'm thinking back at like my older one of one hoodies.
You would have been just
Um,
starting out as well. You wouldn't be as, well off as you are now with how quickly you can do it and how much time it takes to complete a hoodie. So,
So yeah, I've definitely streamlined a couple things because like I've had hoodies. Like I had this every now and then some people DM me like, "Are you ever gonna bring the black hole but hoodie back?" So it was like a space themed hoodie, and
mhm.
it had like a simple graphic on the front, but on the back it had a shit ton of text. Text takes so fucking long,
I would not want to do
so
text. Oh my god.
yeah, because each letter has like 200 to 300 stitches, and it's 600 stitches a minute. So like 30 seconds or so, 20 to 30 seconds per letter. And if you have like hundreds of like letters, that shit can add up. I had some graphics on the back, little diagrams of how a black hole works and how the mass like pulls shit, whatever, different graphics, and then
Mm.
a fuck ton of text, almost like a diagram out of a textbook. Took so that hoodie probably took like 5 hours, not all in a row, but I would do like a couple hours a day and then like the next day.
Yeah.
And I sold that for $168, which I
And
thought was so expensive
yeah,
back then. Like
starting out, that is expensive. Like,
no one's no one's gonna buy this hoodie. It's too expensive. And then it was like one of the first pieces to sell out within a minute. When I opened the store, there were like
mm,
maybe 10 different space things. So I'm thinking like, okay, I think in total I've made like 4 of these hoodies because they take so fucking long. If
five
I had like a
hours,
big
like that's crazy.
if I had like a big machine, I would make like 5 at a time, 10 at a time. But those machines are like thousands and
Thousands,
thousands of
thousands of the
dollars.
big industrial ones. Yeah, of
Like a
course.
10 head embroidery machine with like 10 different hoops could cost like 50 to $80,000. It's crazy expensive.
And
So
potentially down the line, you could industrialize though. Like if you get enough followers, enough cash coming through, you could
oh,
industrialize
for
to a
sure.
warehouse.
It's not like I'm gonna buy it right out. It'd be payments. Like you put a
Yeah.
down payment as like equipment, machine. You could also do a tax write off too. It's for the business,
Mm.
but you got to make those payments of 400, 500 a month, depending whatever
Yeah,
your
whatever
fucking
you.
plan is.
Yeah.
Um, what was the question? I
It
kind
was
of went off track.
yourself. Yeah, no, no, no. That's all good. Your self worth and how you determine the price of your hoodies
Right,
starting out, 2017, when you were
right,
just making them, and you were talking about how the Galaxy hoodie, which had a bunch of text and a huge graphic on the back, you charged the most that you'd ever done at that point, which was like 160-ish bucks.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
people recognized it and they all bought it when it was available in the store.
Yes. Okay. Good. That was a really thorough recap. Okay. So yeah, it was a black hole hoodie.
Yeah.
I did do a Galaxy one earlier. After that, but it was a
Mhm.
black hole one and 168. I got that price because it took me like so long,
Took you five
like 4 or 5
hours.
hours,
Yeah, yeah.
and I gave myself like I'm like this took forever, but it was mostly just me watching the machine embroider the text. So I would either be drawing something else or watching YouTube or comedy
Mm.
sketches. There's only a little bit. I have to stay near the machine because it could run out of thread. The needle could break. It could snag on some excess fabric that
Yeah,
pulls
of course.
over. So there's a little bit of human maintenance as it's stitching out. Not much, but I just need to be nearby. So what my time is worth just sitting here, I thought it was like 30 to 35 whatever dollars. I wanted to give myself like 40 because I was trying to be like pompous or something, but it ended up being like $200 for a hoodie. No one's going to spend that much. So I just did like 168 because I like when the prices end in 8 because it's not 170, but people think it's cheaper because pricing models, whatever. It's just
You
shit I've
do
learned.
like 198 if you actually wanted to charge 200 just to get
Yes,
people
and I've
more
done that.
enticed.
There was one hoodie I made. It also took like 4 or 5 hours. It had like a color spectrum on the back. It had like iridescent, sparkly thread I used. It was really cool, and I sold it for
Sparkly
100.
thread.
I sold it for like 109. I think I have some right here. It's like
Oh, okay. I was I was thinking, is that super expensive compared to normal thread, or was that?
it yeah, but it's like you can buy normal thread that comes in like a spool like this, and it may
Mm,
cost the same as this, just because it's a
as
specialty
a
thread, but you get less of it. And if you try to get sparkly thread from like an embroidery manufacturer, they'll charge you a lot for that too, because the threads aren't that big, and if you're making like 50 orders, they're going to run out of threads quickly. So you got to
mm,
buy like the threads in bulk via the manufacturer. Other things you got to think about. So I did sell a hoodie for 198, and when it sold, I was like, "Holy shit!" Because that's like social proof, a little bit of social proof. Like if I can make something and someone buys it for 200, that means they perceive my brand value at that dollar amount.
mm.
So it's like, okay, cool. It's like a little milestone, like
Yeah,
checking off.
it gives you an
I'm
idea
worth
of
that.
what kind of price points you can charge once you put like a lot of effort into a certain piece or a piece that requires a lot of time to make. You can have an idea
Yeah.
of how much you really want to charge for that. So you did hourly rates on the pieces, didn't you? You tried to do that instead of just like cost price, because you can't really gauge a cost price really effectively because you're doing it at home. You're not like charging a manufacturer to do it or getting a manufacturer. So that's
If
probably
I did
hmm.
when the manufacturer make it, then it definitely is like
It's super expensive,
expensive.
right? Like
It's
embroidery is crazy expensive.
It can be. Like, what do you think embroidery how expensive do you think embroidery is?
Uh um depend on graphic size, but if we were talking about like the tree, like the bonsai tree or the tree that your friend asked you to like embroider onto a piece, that would be like $30 to $50, right, to get that like done on a hoodie or something like that. If you supplied the hoodie as well,
No. So
cheaper
to,
or more expensive?
cheaper. So
Really? Okay, I have a totally different gauge on it.
it depends on thread count.
Yeah.
Different services, manufacturers, whatever, they have different little protocols for like
Mm.
every 1,000 stitches is however many dollars, whatever.
Okay.
So my local guy, I've never given him a design that's super big with a fuck ton of stitches. Maybe like 30 to 60,000 stitches is like a medium size.
Mm.
So those could cost, it could cost like $8 to $12 to embroider something. But you're
Okay.
not just getting one done. You're getting like my local guy, his minimums are 12.
Yeah.
Um
They
another local
they
guy, their
usually have
minimums are,
minimums, don't they? It's usually like
yeah.
10 or something like that. Yeah.
And it's different because my local guy, he does a lot of contract work with like Volcom, Hurley, Vans, really big fucking companies.
Okay.
And he found me through Reddit, and he likes me. We're friends, so he lowered the minimums for me because he knows me, which is nice.
And
So
also, could you expect the same amount of minimums for like Vans and stuff with you? That's a big ask for small timers.
no, dude, no. His company, his dad made it like 25 years ago. They're
Mm.
doing like 10,000,
A day,
20,000.
yeah, something crazy
So
like that.
I can't. I'm not there yet. So
Yet.
their minimums for embroidery are like 12, but like my other local guy, their minimums are like 24. So it just depends on like the type of embroidery machine they have. Maybe they
Mm.
can do 12 at a time, maybe they can do 30 at a time. It just depends what resources the actual service has. That dictates how much you would spend. So for example, if you want like an 8 inch, 7 inch by 7 inch, like cherry blossom tree with lots of flowers, like done tons of flowers and grass, maybe a person reading a book underneath or whatever. The digitizing fee is usually $50 to $100. That's just someone in the software drawing it all, making
Yeah.
sure all the settings are. They're basically making instructions. So you would make like the file in the software, put it on a USB, and then plug it in the machine. Like
Mm.
this USB is only for the embroidery machine. You can't put this in any other device. It's only for the embroidery machine.
Mm.
So just I don't know, just some detail I just mentioned. So they make the instructions, and then to embroider the cherry blossom might cost like $12 to $15. If it's a lot of stitches, 10 to
Okay.
15. Because if you're getting them in bulk, 12 minimum, 24 minimum, you're not going to be spending $50. Like you'd be spending $50 for embroidery if it was like someone like me, not like me, like someone with one machine where they're doing this,
Yeah.
like
Someone that isn't industrialized. Something like
yeah,
you
where
said,
they're doing
small
one
time.
at a time. It could cost that much because you're
So
not making multiple at a
yeah,
time.
so the most expensive part of embroidery would be the digitization of the design to it's vectors, isn't it? That machines
No.
read. No? What's the file type or the file that the machines read?
There's a fuck ton. It depends on the brand of the machine. So mine is Husk. You can't even read that. I don't even know why I'm doing that. So the brand is called Husqvarna. They
Mhm.
also make motorcycles and lawnmowers
They do.
and embroidery and chainsaws too. It's pretty cool. So the file type this machine reads is .hus for Husqvarna. So a genome machine may read .ja, and a Tajima may read a .dst. So it just depends on what the machine reads. Vectors deals with math. That's what Adobe Illustrator uses. So
Mm.
you can zoom in and out, and like it stays the same. But if you zoom in like the embroidery software, it's not really pixels because
It
there's
can't
like
read
there's like a
pixels, right?
what?
It can't read pixels, right? You've got to do it in a format that's more like lines and things like that. For the
Well, you could manually draw a pixel kind of. I know what you
yeah,
mean. Okay, yeah. So
yeah,
you draw the graphic. I mean, if I zoom out in the I'm zooming with my wheel. If I
mm,
zoom out in the software and I look at like the graphics, then yeah, they are pixelated just because the graphics super far away. But when you're up close, it shows like where the stitches would be. So it's not really vector or I'm sure. Okay, I'm 99% sure it's pixel based visuals, whatever's built into the software. But when
mm,
you're looking at it, that doesn't matter because with Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, that stuff's for like digital blogs or Instagram or like
yeah.
you're gonna print it on a flyer where that quality matters. that quality doesn't matter for embroidery because you're just making a visual for you to see, to represent, okay, these are the instructions that the machine will be reading. So whatever I make, whatever settings I do, I draw a circle here, I put the start point of the needle here and here, I make the stitch direction go this way and all these density settings, and it's just telling it's just telling this arm it can go across this axis
Hmm.
and it can go across this axis. So it's just telling when I do so when I put like clothing in it and I put the hoop in, it's just telling which way it goes up and down and which way left and
Yeah.
right. So it doesn't really matter what the image look. And actually, when the image, whatever the image looks like in the software, it's not going to look exactly like that in real life because the image in the software needs to look a little bloated, a little puffy. Like every
Mm.
stitch needs to be a little wider than it needs to be because as the needle's penetrating the fabric,
You don't want it too close
it's
together, do you?
it's penetrating here and then it goes over here, but as the needle's moving to point B, it's pulling
Pulling
the
the thread.
thread, which pulls the
And the,
fabric. So even though the thread may have been like at point A, it's actually at point A plus half a millimeter because it's pulling the fabric in a way. And then there's settings in the software to deal with pull compensation and all these different fucking settings with, yeah, the thread and the fabric, how they behave together, the physics of it. um I'm still learning that. I'm not even a master in the software yet. Like I've been doing this for for fucking years, and I still consider myself like decent using the
yeah,
software.
wow. It sounds like there's a
Yeah,
huge learning curve. Not even necessarily with the hardware, but it sounds more like the software, as you said
it is the
before, is
software. Yeah, definitely.
the
The
pull
software is the
compensation
hardest.
and stuff like that. That's crazy. Um,
Mhm.
so would people starting out, would doing what you do, buying a secondhand machine, going through that process, would that be more cost effective, or do you think going to a manufacturer would probably be a good thing if you really just want to see how embroidery is done and kind of price point you're going to be looking at? Do you think starting off with your own machine is the best way to go, or going to a manufacturer?
I think it depends what you want to
What
do,
you want
because
to do?
like with me, it was more about I was just interested in this like graphic medium that my aunt helped me with, and she
Mm.
just nonchalantly said you could get a
You
machine if
could
you
try it
want to.
yourself. Yeah.
So it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't really into like uh, it didn't it did catalyze me making turning it into a business, but it wasn't the main reason of like I want to make a clothing brand. I'm gonna get a machine. So I think it would behoove you as like a future designer if you want to get like a little four screen print press or your own embroidery sewing machine, and that could help you learn the mechanics of everything, how shit works, because it does help. Because if you're going to like a manufacturer and you don't know anything, any terminology, you don't know how
Yeah.
shit works, it's just a longer back and forth of like, I want my graphic to be 10 inches wide and this long. Well, our dimensions are only 9 inches because we have this machine, or we can't do this type of graphic because it doesn't work with our printing press, or it can't be that, like, you can't embroider on top of puff print, or you can't, all these different things. But if you had a screen print press or embroidery machine, you know the limitations of what they can and can't do.
Realistic.
So it also makes it easier to communicate these more complex projects or designs to the manufacturers because you're already a person in that realm who makes the stuff
Mm.
to begin with. So it does help. It really depends what you want to do. Some people start with a cheap little sewing machine,
Yeah.
200, $300, and they'll make like, they'll sew patches on something, or they'll make their own cut and sewn shirt or hoodie. People have an embroidery machine where they just buy the blanks and then put shit on it. My biggest hoop is 9 by 6 inches. I can't embroider every inch of this. There's
Yeah,
like
of course.
a part of space which allows the presser foot like room to move. But 9 by 6 inches. So if I wanted to make a huge, like, let me show you. Stay right, don't move. Stay right there. So if I wanted to, like, this was one I was working on. If I wanted to make like this giant piece, I had to
That's
hoop
huge.
this. I had to hoop this. Well, once for up here, just this lone fucking
Yeah.
star right there. I had to hoop it again for the half moon, and then another hoop for the actual moon,
And then
one hoop
the
for the day, and then one hoop for the cloud. So I had to hoop this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to make that.
that's crazy.
So
Was that one of your like $190 projects if you were to sell it for that much? Because that
no, no. This is not. I wouldn't sell that for 198. That took me maybe like Um, hour and a half, 2 hours, or something like that.
Really? I looking at the size of that graphic, I thought it was going to be a lot more expensive and a lot more time consuming than
Good, you can tell my customers that.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Well, who are a couple brands that you're seeing that are up and comers that are doing exceptional work in the Instagram slash streetwear world?
In general, just
Yeah,
people that
just
are doing.
that are just doing really good work.
My friend Jack from Pythia lives in LA. He does lots of
Pythia.
like
I think I
Pythia is the name of she's like a goddess, or like it's like a position that a god fills. It's like a messenger between humans and gods. He has a backstory behind it, but
hmm.
he does lots of like um how to describe it? Not really super grungy, but kind of not punky either. He's made some rings. He done some cowboy imagery. He had like barbed wire stars and hearts, so
I
that kind of
feel
like
like I've seen some of his work. Yeah.
darker, maybe rougher kind of images. But don't take it from me. He might have a different perspective on his.
Well, this is just your perspective. Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna call me like Jacob. What the fuck? That's not my
That's
brand.
not what I was going for.
I'm just
This is just what I
looking at it.
see.
So Pythia's coming up. Pythia's growing fast. Another dude, his name is Bad Sun, badsun.us or badsun dot some, I don't know, fucking Bad Sun. What he does is his Instagram account only has like a few pictures at a time. Like once he finishes a collection, he just like deletes or archives those posts and then
Oh,
starts the next thing. So it's just that one little snippet view of what the collection is. So Bad Sun's cool. Does a lot of cut and sewn stuff. Uses stars and stuff as well. Cut and sewn jeans, hoodies. He made this sick like Sherpa fleece reversible jacket, but you can unzip the hood and unzip the sleeves, so you could really wear it in so
you
many
could make
different
it into a
ways.
vest. You could make it into a vest with a hood. Yeah, okay, that's crazy.
Jacket, hoodie. You can make it like a long sleeve polo. Just take off the fucking hood. So Badson, Pythia, Vital Studios. My friend Diego from Puerto Rico. He blew up pretty well on TikTok, and then he's taken a break for a bit. He's learning about NFTs and stuff, but
Hmm.
he's gearing up for a collection soon. I know he's posting some stuff about it.
I hear that TikTok's
Those
a
are
really good way to market your stuff as well. You have a TikTok, right? Don't you?
Yeah, I've done some giveaways on TikTok. I've showed how to make some of my hoodies and pieces, and just showcasing some of my clothing. I'm not as active on there as I should be, but it's
Apparently,
nice.
it's the place to be. I'm not on it at all, so I
It's a
wouldn't.
good resource. When TikTok was brand new, though, the brands that really started early were Diego, Puerto Rico, Vital Studios, the guy I
Hmm.
just mentioned. He started doing his TikTok stuff for his brand on there. Like he was one of like the early people to do it. Another dude, his name is Sal. He owns a brand called Eighth Wonder, and they grew to like 100K followers in like a year and a half, and
That's
something
re-
so quick,
that's so
so
quick, so
because
quick.
he started on TikTok. I think I spoke to him on the phone a couple days ago. I think he was the first, if not within the first handful
Mm.
of brands to actually use TikTok as a platform to help spread awareness or like market
Mm.
themselves. So he would like say like selling clothes, draw. He'd like hold the clothes up like selling a hat or shirt next weekend, or I'm doing a giveaway, or like picking a random comment to win something. I don't know, just
Mm.
some other engagement kind of stuff. So they were on it. Now everyone and their fucking mom has like a brand on TikTok. They're all
No,
advertising it. So it is saturated in a way. You can still advertise on it, and you can still get engagement and get eyes to your brand or business, but it's not as um it's still effective, but it's not as super effective as it used
as
to
it
be.
used to be. Yeah, okay. And what did you use to start out with marketing? I know that you mentioned Facebook and stuff before. Um, what were the
I did
main?
Instagram. I did Instagram's built-in promotion tools.
Yeah,
Like
with the
you can,
promote
it's like a
button.
blue button,
Yeah,
the blue button. But it's not. It's decent. It gets the job done. But
I heard
since Facebook,
Facebook ads are the way to go.
yeah, because you can control them a little bit more.
Okay.
You can target a little bit more specifically about people's like demographics and their age and gender. You can do all that in Instagram, but there's just a few more options in Facebook, and you can link your Facebook you
With
can link your
Instagram.
website to your Facebook pixel.
Hmm.
So whenever people visit your website, the pixel is in the background, like writing down everything about this person. Like they were on the homepage for 10 seconds.
Oh,
They
that's so
added to
scary.
cart.
Oh, that's such a
All,
scary concept to think about. That it's
no,
all
it's
being.
not. It's not scary at all.
It's all being monitored.
It's technology. Like why do you think you see ads for like toothpaste. Okay, that's a really bad example. It's just like market.
When have I
But
ever seen an ad for
like
toothpaste?
right. So
Yeah.
people can get antsy or like weirded out by like the privacy problems or that can come from that. But as
Mm.
a marketer, I'm a marketing major and I own a brand, so
Mm.
obviously I'm gonna be all for it.
Yeah,
But it
it's
helps because sometimes consumers sometimes this company in fucking let's say there's a company over here somewhere that has like a really good product or service that this population would really enjoy. They just have certain interests or demographics or behaviors that would really go well with this product, but they don't know it exists because maybe it's not in their circle or they haven't
mm.
looked for it. You don't know what you don't know. So if you're looking up like let's say there's a population who has really bad acne and like they're really bad acne and let's say they've been searching for like Curology or Clean and Clear or whatever and then they get an ad on Instagram from this company over here
Over here,
who's
yeah.
been targeting people who are interested in Curology or Clean and Clear, who are interested in like acne improvement.
Mm.
And then they see it and they say, well, these testimonies look good. The product looks good. I like the before and after. They buy it. They use the product and it works. So they would have never, maybe their friend could have recommended, or they could have seen it in a
It'd be
store.
very unlikely for them to come across it without
Yeah, like
Facebook
by
coming in.
chance.
Yeah, but
So the
purely.
fact that they're interested in certain things, the company can send their product and services and throw little advertisements their way to a certain population to help them. Obviously, they're making money. Obviously, it's a business
Obviously,
and they're like
yeah, obviously.
corporate greed, whatever. But to the consumer, it's a product they like and
It's
they
also
use it and
super
it
helpful.
works.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Facebook
it's tough.
ads, because of that, are the most helpful. Did you ever
Yeah.
find that when you were like starting out and when you were like growing on Instagram that the Facebook ads would get more traction than say other brands sharing your work or the hoodie pages sharing your work and archive pages and stuff like that, or were the Facebook ads like really like the prime time stuff, like they brought the most traction, they brought the most people?
I think Facebook ads are more consistent at
Mm-hmm.
bringing so there's a bunch of different ads you can do. You can do like a brand awareness ad where if you just want a bunch of people who are in your market to
Mm-hmm.
look at your clothing or product. Or you could do a traffic ad, which is just sending fucking anyone. It could be a 60-year-old grandma to a fucking toddler with anyone to your website or profile page. Or you could do a conversion ad where the point of that ad is to get sales. Or you can do an engagement ad or a page like an ad for people to DM you, all different kinds of ads. So I like to do brand awareness and it's just consistent. Do like $4 a day for like a month and just
Mm-hmm.
let it sit. And then it gradually sends your little ad out to people. And you can gradually get eyes that way. If you do an archive page or a Avant Space, if you've heard of them, it's like a hub of just like a page that likes to post streetwear brands and
Yeah.
whoever in the market. So Avant Space has like over 100,000 followers. Hoodie Archive, I don't know how many followers they have, but they have like a couple dozen thousand
Yeah.
or more than that. So those followers are a hyper concentrated demographic of people who are already interested in streetwear in your market. So you could send out like if I'm buying a Facebook ad for let's say I'm doing a hoodie for Magdalsade, medieval theme,
Mm.
and let's say the interest would be streetwear, street fashion, hip hop fashion, and like medieval imagery. So even though it's medieval themed, it sends the ad to some dude who likes to go LARPing. You know what LARPing is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Live action role play. So it sends the ad to a dude that likes to go LARPing and he likes to speak in ye old English dialect or whatever the fuck him and his
But that
friends
would be
do.
perfect for him. Yeah.
Yeah, so he may like medieval stuff, but he may not like medieval clothing that's like 80 bucks for a hoodie. He's just not my specific type of demographic. So, depending what but that's also my fault as a marketer adding medieval as the interest. I could just not include that.
Mm.
So, with the archive pages, these are people that all have agreed to follow the account and they all I guess in that agreement they all like streetwear and
Yeah,
fashion
they
and
all have a yeah, interest in
brands,
that market already.
brand images. What was that?
They already have an interest in that market. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, so when you buy like a post for Avant Space or Hoodie Archive, you should have like an expectation that when you post something, there's going to be a level of like a good feedback on it. There may be a guy like, I don't like this graphic, I don't like this hoodie. That's fine. People have opinions. It's all
Yeah.
good. It's fine. But you already know that potentially, maybe not all 100,000. Like I think only 6% of your followers see your feed every day, something like that. It's very small.
Very small.
And yeah, so you can have an idea of like, okay, if 100,000, then I know at least 6,000 people may see it today, or 10,000, or it also depends on what posts or content really hit. So
Mm.
on Avant Space, people like skeletons, they like skulls, they like grungy shit. So if I were to post a shirt with like a big star on it or a big rainbow, it may do well, but it's not going to do as well as maybe this other type of content. So it's good to know which part of the market the archive page exists in and who's following them. And then you could say, okay, I have one shirt with this graphic that'll go on Avant Space, but I have this hoodie that'll go on Hoodie Archive because I think those followings may react better to those different things. I could still do I do Facebook ads in tandem with those as well.
Mm.
So Facebook ad is like general in the background, constantly showing
Just
it to people
constantly
interested in
going.
streetwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's streetwear in general. And then I can post the same picture, pay for an ad for Avant Space or Hoodie Archive, and then send it to that hyper concentrated market to really beef up the awareness of it. I feel like I'm losing my voice. That was a long. That was a long.
The marketing major really came out. Yeah, okay. So different content is going to react differently on different platforms, but you wouldn't be able to put a standard this one works better than the other. It's really just about what kind of markets you're trying to get, which ones you're trying to influence or get into your.
Is that a question or are you recapping?
No, so I was trying to recap it all to summarize. Yeah. To summarize, you can't standardize a marketing technique because there's just so many different markets out there. You got to try like all different things to try and get all the different types of people into your, or in your case, your brand.
You could also do A/B testing. Facebook ads. Another thing, Facebook ads has A/B testing. Instagram doesn't. So A/B testing just means like if I have an advertisement but I don't know, I'm not too confident on a specific metric. I could say, okay, these two ads are the exact same, but this one's targeting men, this one's targeting women, and then I can copy that ad and say, okay, this one's actually targeting just men, but different age groups. This one has a different written copy. This one has a different picture of the same shirt, and then you can compare. This graphic does better. Men like it more, and ages 18 to 20 respond to it better. And you can test those, and then in your final ad, you just input all those successful metrics. That's the best ad you can do because you've already tested the split A/B testing. So that's another good thing Facebook has, which is fantastic.
Did you do that with your work?
I've done it before. I don't do it anymore because I have an idea of like the age group, the demographic, where I can send it. I already know the most efficient settings to do. I did do it in the past when I didn't know, when I was still learning Facebook ads. I probably still should do it. What I haven't done, what I did do A/B testing for was like the age, the gender, the location, which language they speak. The stuff I haven't really tested was different types of pictures. So a flat T-shirt on a white backdrop versus me
Someone
or a model wearing it.
wearing
Yeah,
yeah.
Which one would be better? I actually haven't done that kind of testing yet. I probably should.
But then you'd have to go through the cost of finding models if you don't want to take like photos of yourself or get that set up, right?
I'll take photos of myself for Seaggs because I mean I make YouTube videos showing my face all the time.
Yeah,
I don't mind about that. But with magdalsade, I'm not following anyone on magdalsade. That is strictly just I want people to view it as just a brand, a business. There's no personality. There's personality to it, but like not like an owner. So I wouldn't want myself to be my face visible. So when I put because Sade is the main character, he wears a hoodie and his face is blacked out. Like it's just black. Like not skin color, but like just black.
Yeah, just blacked out, like the hood's covering it, and it's.
Yeah. I act for my model shoots. I have some like cyclorama photo paper that I roll down, and I have like a big white backdrop. I bought some black spandex, and I would put it on my head, and then put the hood on, so I don't even have to edit my face in like Illustrator afterwards. The face is already blacked out. So that's been like, because Sade looks like that too. So it's like, oh, Sade's modeling it. So that it works. It works well that way.
With Seaggs, did having yourself as, I guess, a public figure behind it definitely help it in its growth? Because it's not very curated in its, what kind of aesthetic it is or what kind of graphics it is. It's kind of just whatever you're feeling, right? It's just doing whatever you want. So do you feel that having yourself behind it definitely helped propel that out there?
I'm not a public figure, but thank you though. I think showing personality is good. It also depends on the type of brand, and that's like an answer for everything. It depends. It
really
on
depends. Yeah.
So if you're like a much more serious, darker brand, you probably don't want to be making YouTube videos in a fucking bright yellow.
In a bright,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because Seaggs began as just My last name is Siegel, and when I
Mm.
played volleyball at high school, that
They'd
people in
shorten it.
sports teams, people have nicknames. They called me
Yeah.
Seaggs or Siegel. So, it was just me with an embroidery machine. It's not even like I guess now I have a style or aesthetic, but it actually comes from my process of how I make the embroidery in the software. There are some things you can and can't do, and in those limitations spawns a type of style in a way.
Mm.
Just how I make stuff, just like color blocking or certain colors I use for outlines or what's ideal to make or whatever. So there's not like a style or aesthetic I went into it. It was just me with a machine making whatever I want, and then the style gradually came with what
With
I'm
your
capable
limitations. Yeah.
of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess personality does well, it helps all the time. Personality helps anything regardless, but making the YouTube videos, that's another type of personality as a whole, just like helping people. I mean, I
Mm.
get comments all the time like, "You helped me with my brand. I got an embroidery machine because of you." And it's like, "Oh, that feels good. That feels good to help."
Do you
So I
feel any
show my
pressure
face.
from that? Do you feel any pressure from people being like, "You're my inspiration" or anything like that? Or
I don't feel pressure. It's more like, me, really? Like, fuck, like, no.
out of everyone, me?
Yeah, same way. It's another reason why I did this interview thing. Not specifically with you, but in general, when I made
Mm.
the Instagram story post of like anyone can want to talk to me. Like I've done like 15 interviews before this one.
Mm.
But some people had like a small podcast, a small YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Other people were just normal people that just like my brand. They wanted to talk to me. One of them turned into it was on Discord, and a girl shared her screen, and she was in her digitizing software, and that interview turned into me tutoring
Helping.
her
Okay.
in software. And I didn't know that was going to happen, but it's like I can do this. I know how to do that, so that's easy.
you had
Another
a
one,
you had a couple YouTube
another one
videos about that, didn't you? Like
in the
how to
very beginning, yeah.
yeah.
But like it's a very small niche, and
Mm.
it, I didn't get a lot of views from it, which you shouldn't care about the number, but I knew that I could make content that would get more views, like the comparing hoodie blanks and stuff.
That one's
So the
huge,
digitized
isn't it? That like got like thousands of views, the hoodie
one of
comparison.
them got 160K. I'm trying to. I haven't hit that. I
Ooh.
haven't hit 100K in a second video yet, but that'd be nice. Um, with the digitizing stuff, it also took a long time because as I'm as I'm digitizing and I have a microphone and I would set that up and I would sync my screen recording with my microphone. They're two separate
Mm.
um, mediums that I had to put together in my video editing software. I recorded like an hour and a half. I had to rewatch the entire hour and a half, more or less exactly second by second, to cut out when I had to go to the bathroom or leave, or I was
Yeah.
rambling, or I fucked up explaining a tool or a function. I had to go back, so I had to chop that all up. Then I had to split it in like three parts because I don't want to put an hour and a half video out, 40 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. And then I had to go and like I'm watching it. Oh, this is a good note point. I'll write this down as a timestamp. So I have timestamps in the description so you can jump around. I'm talking about bean stitches, satin stitches, fill stitches, tension. So I try to make it easy to jump around. And that shit, the digitizing videos take longer to make than the actual blank hoodie. I'm wearing
That'd
a
be
hoodie.
easy. Just put the hoodie on. This is how it looks
Just
on
do it.
body.
Yeah, yeah. I do a little spin and I show the clothing. It's much easier to do it that way, and it's more entertaining. It's a shorter video, and I feel like people get more out of it, and it's appealing to
Yeah.
more people.
Yeah, for
That's cool.
the amount of time it takes to watch it, the value is a lot higher.
Because
This,
only very few people are looking how to digitize online. More people are
yeah,
looking at how to buy blanks.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's because it's not a market that a lot of people have I guess tapped into or want to talk about because people are very secretive about it, about what kind of blanks they're using, where to go for blanks. Because everyone, like, I don't want to generalize saying everyone because obviously you're not in that case where you're just like these are the blanks to use, this is how it looks, but a lot of up and coming brands are very much like, oh, I don't want to tell you what blank I use because then you'll use it, then you'll be better than me, and then yada yada yada. Have you noticed that? I feel like that's the
Yeah.
case, definitely.
So in some of the interviews I've done, they have mentioned some people did know I had a second brand and a YouTube channel. Some dude didn't know I had either of them, and it's like it's fine. You don't know anything about it's fine. So when it comes to like gatekeeping,
Mm,
I don't care. Like blanks are blanks. So it's like those should be like the minimum criteria for not minimum knowledge criteria for running or starting a brand because
mm.
you probably don't have the budget for cut and sew. You probably need to get
No.
blanks. And if you're gatekeeping like where to get your blanks from, it could be a number of reasons. Maybe you just want to be secretive about it because if you're too personal as a brand, then the consumers or demographic could see you as a person rather than, well, they still want to see you as a person, but they see you less, they see you more as like an individual than like a business entity,
Mm.
which may deter people from buying from you because you don't look like an official brand, or I don't know
Yeah.
what the whole process, the thinking process is. But if someone wants ask me what blanks I use, I'll tell them. Like it's not, it doesn't come out of insecurity because like you're gonna find out a blank to use regardless. And
Yeah.
many blanks are very similar. There are contrasts between the cheap Gildan and then like an expensive LA apparel or a made
Definitely.
blank. There are vast differences, but if you're in the same streetwear, these peanuts are fucking oily. They're just in my okay, hold on. It's making it hard to fucking talk. If you're in the streetwear community, you're gonna find out where these blanks come from or where you can get them
Eventually.
regardless. Eventually, you're gonna find it. So if someone plus I'm making YouTube videos on how to compare them because it's more content for me. I
Mm.
have the information and the knowledge to know the differences between these blanks because I've used them for so many years and I have the perspective on like this is good, this is bad, this is whatever. You can do whatever you want with that information and you can make your own decision. I'm just here to show you the ingredients. You can put them together how you like. You know, if someone watches my brand, they have 100 followers for their brand. I mean, I'm sorry. If someone watches my video and they have their own brand for 100 followers, and then they use my video to get a Rue Porter blank or Independent Trading Co blank,
Mm.
and then they're working really hard, and then they surpass me and they hit 50K followers in a year, it's not that I allowed them to surpass me. It's just the blank they use. It's not just the blank. It's like their mindset as like a business owner making the
Yeah.
designs or the marketing. The blank is only one small ingredient of owning a brand. So I'm not really concerned about, plus as
Gatekeeping.
someone who does one of ones who uses so many different kinds of blanks, it's not like I'm protecting this valuable blank that only I'm using. I'm using a fuck ton of different blanks. And any blank that anyone, any brand, every big brand right now that isn't doing a cut and sew piece, they're more or less using the same kind of blank.
Mm. Mm.
I can't name, I can name some brand names. I'm not going to, but if you're in the streetwear community, if I say the big brands in the streetwear community, some brands may pop into your head, whatever brands you like or that's your appeal to. They probably use LA Apparel, Independent Trading Co, AS Color, Made Blanks,
Yeah.
All Style, All Style. This is one thing I'll say. All Style 1301. That shirt is like $3, 6 ounces. I use it too. Everyone uses that shirt. Brands with 10K followers to 100K,
It's
they
purely
all
just
use that.
just because the price, just because it's like $3.
It's cheap as fuck, and 6 ounces for a shirt is like fantastic. Like AS Color has a AS Color Classic and Staple Tee. They're like 4 or 5 ounces. They're really soft. They're super super soft t-shirts, but they're not the thickest, and they cost like $5 each. All
Mm.
styles $2 to $3, and it's a little bit weightier, a little more thicker in
Thicker.
quality. So just depends on the weather or what kind of feel. If it's a spring collection, winter, summer, whatever.
Mm.
Um,
And do you change that for different collections? Like if you were doing a summer collection, would you do thinner pieces? If you were doing a winter collection, would you get thicker ones? Has that ever come into your process?
Yeah, so it does for hoodies. For shirts, I'll use the same I'll use a shirt for any a shirt's a shirt. If you whether it's hot or cold weather, your fucking forearm is going to be cold
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter what the shirt is. So in terms of hoodies, yeah, during winter time, I like to use original favorites and the made blanks. I recently discovered them, but I plan to use them more often now.
Mm.
If it's like summer or springtime, then or summer or fall time, I'll go for like the AS Color Stencil hoodie, which is like 10 ounces, or the Independent Trading Co. IND 4000, which is also 10 ounces. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It's it's just a decent kind of standard weight. Like Gildan's a little too thin. It's good for like summertime because like it's not too cumbersome. It's not the Gildan hoodie. It's not too thick.
Mm.
The Gildan actually has one of the best fits in hoodies ever. Like the quality is
I
not the
do
best,
really
but
like
the
it.
way
Yeah.
the hood lays on you, the way that the length of the sleeves and the body, I think if that hoodie was a little thicker and heavier,
Mm.
it'd be
Hmm.
it'd be the perfect hoodie.
Yeah,
It'd be the
because
perfect.
the Kanye Kids See Ghosts ones fit everything to do with that perfect. It's literally just the weight for me. I'm like, this feels too thin. I would much more prefer this as like a 16 ounce or something like that, or something like a little bit heavier. Because I don't know what they come in at. What's the weight
What?
of the Gildan
Gildan?
one? Yeah.
they're
8.
8 8 ounces.
Well, who are the most the heaviest blank brands at the moment? Is it it's Independence? Is it 8 8,500 or 4,500? I can't remember the model name, but it's like 14 or 16 ounces.
Okay, so in the Independent Trading Co. IND 5000P
5. Yeah.
is the thickest hoodie
Mm.
that it's like physically if you touch it, it's like the thickest hoodie I'm aware of. Rue Porter uses French terry fleece,
Yeah, it's
which no, they use French terry, French
yeah.
terry fleece. So most hoodie blanks are cotton fleece.
Yeah.
Rue Porter uses French terry, which is like that kind of grated
Yeah,
cross hatch.
yeah.
So
Which a lot of
it's
Japanese
like
brands like to use as well.
French terry. It's very light.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
is.
too hot. You can't really overheat. You can, but
It's
you can
hot.
overheat less than the
Yeah.
cotton fleece.
Yeah.
Cotton fleece is like fuzzier, warmer. French
It
terry,
is.
I guess it's more breathable.
Mm.
I think Rue Porter should make a cotton fleece version of their hoodie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like their hoodie. It's also the way Rue Porter's hoodies are cut, like the panels. There's more fabric. It's like a boxier cut, so it does way more. I wonder if a Rue Porter and like an Independent Trading Co. If those same materials were made in the exact same way, I wonder which one would be heavier. I think by far the IND 5000 is like the thickest, warmest hoodie you can get. The LA Apparel HF09, it's a very rough hoodie. Like when you wash it,
I
the
really like
exterior is
that.
like almost like a biker gang. It's
I
very
really
rough.
like that. Yeah, Supreme has
That's-
a very much a similar feel to it as well in that roughness, and especially after you wash it, it just goes like, I don't want to say rock solid, but you could like it's really really tough.
I
Yeah.
know. Are you wearing a Champion reverse?
Yeah,
weave?
reverse weave.
So I think those are like 12 ounces or something.
Round
So
about,
that's like yeah. So tons of brands would use like Champion hoodies or shorts or shirts.
I think
and
they're an
felt
awesome standard. I think that should like get rid of all the 8 ounce, 10 ounces. Champion reverse weave should be a standard. They're just real like the fit, everything to do with them. I think they're really really good. Which is probably
I just don't like the graphic.
well, yeah.
Because people make like use their shorts, but the fucking Champion C is on the side of the leg. Like
Well,
I get it if you're just starting out and you're
Mm.
doing one of ones or you're printing stuff, that's fine.
Mm.
But you kind of don't want another logo on your shit
I
if
think
you're scaling.
you can get Champion reverse weaves with just the logo there, right? Like there's because I have
Yeah,
an injury.
that's too much
Yeah,
for me at least.
Really, that is too much. Just
Yeah,
this.
it's not-
Yeah, okay.
I'm not Champion. That's not
True,
me. It's on my
True,
clothes.
true. Yeah, because a lot of brands in like the 90s, I think, started out with Champion blanks because they were one of the easiest to get a hold of.
And I'm sure
Fruit of the Loom was
yeah.
also very popular.
I think LA Apparel spawned from a dude who worked for American Apparel and then he left or got fired. I don't remember, but he doesn't work for them anymore. And then he started LA Apparel. Maybe there's still a relationship partnership between the brands.
Is American Apparel still a thing? I rarely ever see them being talked about.
I don't know. Maybe they actually did go out of business, and maybe he started LA Apparel.
Maybe LA Apparel started while American Apparel was still a thing and put them out of business. I don't know.
But now that streetwear has gotten like more attention, especially in like the hip hop culture with like rappers and artists having their own streetwear kind of brands, it does grow. It did increase the market size to where people could see a need for more blanks or like I don't see any blanks in the market. I'm gonna make my own. So then I don't even know when Independent Trading Co. was made or AS Co. I don't know when they were founded. I'm sure they weren't made for streetwear. I know Rue Porter was made
specifically
for streetwear,
yeah,
specifically for that. And Velour Garments, who makes velour scarves, they're another popular streetwear, just another brand. They're about the same price range as Rue Porter. But I thought about because owning a blank company is like I'm sure that'd be a headache because you have to have inventory on hand.
On hand, like I think Rue Porter recently was out of stock for a while, and I remember just looking them up, and it was just the nightmare threads of just people on Reddit being like, "I paid for this. Where are they? Yada yada yada." And I was like, "Oh my god, I would hate to be them, just having to."
I don't know if their shipping is still like that, But for the longest time, like the first time I ordered from them, I got my package in like a week, and the second time I
Oh,
got it
that'd
in
be good.
3 days. Like, holy shit, this is
Oh,
great.
yeah, that's really good.
As I would keep ordering from them, like 2 hoodies here, 10 hoodies, 20 hoodies, 5 hoodies here, just whatever I needed at the time. There was one time I had to wait like 2.5 months because it was on back order, but I think I went back to the website and they had a disclaimer, but it
Mm.
was like really small text. It just didn't jump out to me, and their customer service can be a little sassy sometimes.
I've heard that, and I've read that elsewhere. That like
So
I've
sassy.
don't think I've ever experienced that when I've messaged them, but I have seen that on Reddit being posted before. That someone was like, "Yeah, don't want to deal with them again because they had a sassy customer service," and I was like, "What kind of message did you get? What were they saying?"
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued.
Well, the thing that when I first messaged them, it was on a um good intention. It was like, "Hey, I
Mm.
bought your sweatpants. They're a little long, like they wrinkle a lot at the bottom, and the pocket was so I still have them, but if you put your phone in your pocket, it's like right above your knee. It's like really long.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
like the whole
huge.
pocket.
That's huge.
Yeah. So later on, they did say like, "Hey, we improved our sweatpants pattern. We improved the pocket." I don't know if it was just because of me. Maybe other people complained about it too. But as they were just starting out, I'm sure they did improve their cut pattern every now and then. But
Mm.
whenever I hear or see threads or talk about anything about Root Porter, it's always like quality is fantastic, but customer service can be kind of heated sometimes,
Mm.
and the shipping is inconsistent. So I
Mm.
always tell people, like, I'm not talking shit on them to talk shit. It's like
No, no, no.
as a consumer, they have pros and they have cons,
Of
like
course.
every brand model. So
Yeah.
I haven't used them in a long time, just because I found
You
blanks that I
found,
think work better. Made blanks,
yeah,
$18 a hoodie.
Maybelline's.
They ship 5 days.
That's just ridiculous. I'm still shook by that. That they can't be making money on that. That's so cheap for like a 14 ounce. That's ridiculous.
Maybe they have a really tight connection with a manufacturer,
They
or
have to.
supplier.
They have.
Maybe they're shipping fuck ton of units. I don't know, but it's great. I'm not complaining. It's great.
No, no, of course not. No. So, Made, Root Porter, and LA Apparel's Independence. They're probably the ones that I think of when I think of the heaviest ones in the market at the moment. There's no other ones that you can think of at all of like some super heavy 14 to 16 ounce blanks that are.
Velour garments.
Were they the ones that did your hoodie that had
No, I've never used their hoodie before.
Okay.
Velour garments. I typed it in the chat.
Hmm.
They have a brand called Velour Scars. That's like their main brand. And then I guess as he would get his custom stuff made, he branched off into making a blank company.
Hmm.
So the pricing is about $34 to $36 per hoodie. If you get wholesale, it can drop from that, but that's around
Oh,
Root
okay.
Porter price.
Yeah, I
That's
thought,
around
yeah.
Root Porter.
Yeah.
I would like to try them. I probably should order a couple hoodies, but I think their minimum's like 12 or 24 to hit that price,
Ooh,
but
24.
something like
Because
that. But yeah, I've heard good things about them.
Reporters is minimums are quite small in the grand scheme of things, and it's like $6 to sorry, six of them in units to have it drop or start dropping already instead of like
When
12 to 20.
when I would buy wood from Rue, it would be like 10, 15 at a time. It wasn't a
Mm.
lot because I would use it for one of one stuff.
And are they cotton fleece or French terry velour?
Which one? Uh, I think they do both. I think they started off with French terry.
Which do you
I'm not
prefer? Are you a
cotton.
You're a cotton
Well,
fleece?
because like
I
the
suppose it's.
Independent Trading Co. IND 4,000, 5,000. Those are cotton
Mm.
fleece, and I like how thick they are. But sometimes it also depends on like it for me. It when you ask me about this, I'm thinking of the sleeves. If the
The
sleeves are too
sleeves.
like, if the sleeves are too tight,
Mm.
I feel like cotton fleece could seem too claustrophobic. Like if the
Mm.
sleeve ended like way down here and it gives a lot of room,
Yeah, it has like
not that
a. Yeah.
if it gives more room for my arm to move in, I won't feel so encumbered, like so claustrophobic. I feel like French terry is more breathable, it's more lighter. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a heavy garment. But
Mm.
with fleece, which is better for warmth, I just feel like a baggier fit would feel better and look better. That's subjective, but I feel like it would feel better if it was a little bit looser for the cotton fleece type. So AS Color, the Stencil Tee, and the Independent Trading Co. They don't have super loose kind of fitting. Like
Mm.
it's fitted. It's like it fits your arm
It's quite.
fine, but it's not
Yeah.
super. Root Porter and Made Blank are on the baggier kind of size. So
I think
the
trend
Root Porter,
wise, that's more what people like as the
For what?
baggier fit. The baggier fit. I think
Oh yeah,
in
very
streetwear
boxy.
they love that. They love that, which probably all stems from the love of vintage and stuff like that. Because a lot of vintage brands and vintage fitting hoodies and tees are all about that like huge boxy baggy fit. Do you sell any of your stuff through any other platforms like Depop, Grailed, or eBay or anything like that?
Just Shopify.
Just Shopify.
Shopify, Instagram directs people there. Shopify is my thing. I used to do Etsy when I made custom shoes. I sold one pair on Etsy like a couple days after I made the account, and then I didn't get any more sales, and I stopped promoting it. So I just kind of forgot about it.
Mm.
And then I got an email something about like Etsy promotion, and I was like, oh yeah, I wonder how my shop's doing. And I had an order which I had no idea I had,
An
and the order
outstanding
was
one.
the order was placed like 3 weeks ago, and it's like, fuck, I gotta make this. I didn't even I didn't even know I had it. So good thing I checked at that time because I didn't want them to like I didn't want them to like complain and then I'd have to refund them and then pay a fee.
Yeah,
So good thing I
and
got.
one bad review was
Yeah.
worth 10 good ones, right? Like,
And then after I shipped it out, I just deleted my Etsy. Like I do not want to do that again.
that's it. That's it. So it's purely Shopify, yeah.
Shopify's great.
Yeah, I've heard that. Is it a little bit pricey?
They used to have a free model, and then now the basic one is like $30 a month. I don't
Mhm.
think that's pricey for how much it can do. I mean, you can customize your website to a point, just like a general website.
Yeah,
It has good analytics. It matches with your Facebook pixel to help track insights and customer, behavior.
yeah.
I have no problem with Shopify. It has really good apps you can download. I have an email blasting app. I have this like free, not free, but like Shopify only lets you fulfill 20 orders at a time to print 20 labels. So you have to
Mm.
download like a third party shipping app so you can like do more than
You
20 at a
can
time.
do
So
more than 20.
you can print out and ship like 100 at a time. It has apps for like text message blasting, which I need to do. Someone talked about that. I got to get that the text message because more people open up their text rather than email anyway.
Yeah, definitely. If I get shipping info sent to me via text, I'm way more inclined to look at it than I am if like you send a generic email that's like, "Thanks for your order. Here's your tracking." I'll be like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah. There was one thing I saw which I want to copy almost exactly. Maybe not. I want to copy it. So
Do
it
your
was
own spin on it. Yeah.
I want to. I might. I would. I kind of want to copy it word for word, but I probably
Oh,
won't.
that could get you in
It was.
trouble though.
I was listening to a maybe. I was listening to a podcast. It's called "How I Built This,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's a dude who interviews other business owners and just talks about kind of like this, like how did you start, where you are
And
now, blah
start
blah.
with
They have one on Lululemon, on Five Guys, on Popeyes. Um,
some
um,
huge businesses.
yeah, on Patagonia was one that was super
Wow,
interesting. Listening,
that would be super
so,
interesting. Yeah.
super cool. And one of them was, I think it was glasses or Allbird. They had one on Allbirds shoes. Have you heard of
Mm,
those?
I
New
have. Yeah.
Zealand. Okay, so one of them was like for glasses or something, and the confirmation email you get was this super exaggerated like, we thank you so much for your order. Right now, your glasses are being handmade by the
Oh,
finest craftsmen, being laid out into a velvet barrel, which we're shipping to you, and we're gonna host a parade. Ship like all these things of like we're gonna march down the street with your product in hand in the front of the parade, singing praise to your name,
yeah.
and all like this big ass paragraph that's just entertaining.
Yeah, it's
It's
just a good laugh.
obviously you're not gonna have a parade. It's not gonna be given to you in a velvet
Velvet.
suede box. There's not gonna be a band. They just exaggerated it, and I'm like, that's silly. That's entertaining. That's fun. You smile. You laugh
But
at that.
yeah, depending on your brand's direction or image, you could cater that towards like if you were doing a punk or gothic style brand graphics or something like that, you could cater a message like that and have it changed up to something else.
You're selling like some punk rings. Like right now, Satan is
Yeah, exactly.
creating
You
a
know, like in
ring
the fires of hell, it's being forged or something. You know, you
from
could
the
just
tears of all the condemned are going into your ring. Yeah, some shit like that. It's
yeah,
just you don't take yourself too seriously. It's silly. It's fun. That's another fun thing to do. Another thing of marketing that could have benefit your brand
definitely.
image.
So, what have you got planned for this year? I mean, I know that we're like a quarter of the way through, but is there any big milestones that you want to hit before the end of 2021
Yeah,
with Seaggs or
yeah. So for Seaggs, I'm getting some samples made for a sweatsuit, and it's not like a
Suit.
blank, but it's a material I've never used before. It's French terry fleece.
Was that the one that you were posting? They were white.
No,
No, no, it's a different.
those were the cargo. Those were the Hydra cargos. That was
Yes,
the
yes, yes, yes.
those were the version 1 sample. I got the second sample made using the same French terry fleece.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna release them yet. I've been holding on to them for months.
I know.
I
I've
want
seen.
to
I've
get
seen the stories, and I'll be like, "Damn, it's been a while."
I want to get a Hydra themed hoodie or like a cargo. I want to get like a cargo hoodie made. So like a hoodie, but instead of the kangaroo pouch, I want like just some like tactical pockets that match the pockets on the pants.
Okay.
Just so it's that whole cohesive thing. I'm getting a separate sweatsuit made,
Hmm.
just a hoodie, just sweatpants with like my Seaggs logo,
Yep.
and they're French terry fleece, super super fucking thick. Like I got my version 1 of my Hydra cargos, and then
I saw
later
your
next month.
version 1 and 2, the folded. I was like, "Oh my god, it's like half the
Yeah,
size."
yeah. Yeah, so what I do when I get those French terry sweatsuit, I have a scale. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show like a Gildan hoodie, LA Apparel, all these different hoodies, and then show that mine is like
Yeah,
the thickest.
that's a
Just to
good
visually
way.
show
It's a bit of a
if but
flex
if
as well.
yeah. So if my hoodie doesn't weigh the most,
Hmm.
then I'm not gonna do that. I wanna make sure only the best qualities are
Yeah,
shown.
of
So I
course.
can show the thickness though as it's folded.
Yeah,
Like
that's a good
French
way.
terry, it's like the softness of fleece, but it's like you know how with fleece there's like little bits of thread sticking out. That's what
Yes,
makes it thick.
and
The French
depending
terry
on
fleece,
the
the
blank.
threads are a little bit longer and curlier, so
Okay.
there's a lot more space between the fabric and then because like the threads are like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it just seems softer in a way.
Are
So
you going to
it'd be
run into the same issue that some cotton fleece ones have, where when if you don't wash it the first time, you lose those little like sticking out bits of fabric onto your t-shirt underneath or things like that? Are you going to run into that problem?
it's called
Pilling.
pilling.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was with my friend in a mall one time,
Mm.
and it was like years ago, and we were just shopping in a mall, South Coast Plaza. You don't even know what that is.
No,
We were in a mall, and
I know
we
what
were
a
in
mole
some.
is.
We were in an H&M store, and
Mm.
this is the real estate friend I made the first jacket for. It was with me and him, and then our other friend Yusuf, and Nick, the real estate agent. He was
Mm.
wearing like a nice like Gucci button up, all white, little B, little Gucci B
Classic.
he was looking dapper, looking
Hmm.
fucking nice. And he tried this jacket on and he took it off and it was a zip up. So he put it on,
Zipped it up.
looked fine. He looked fine. He didn't zip it up. He just put the
Mm.
jacket on. It was unzipped, so it had like you could see his white shirt underneath and like the center. The jacket was there. And then he took it off and it was just one strip of clean white and then just black pellets. And,
No, and on such
and I
an
said like
expensive shirt as
and I said,
well.
Nick, you gotta
You got to
we
lose
asked her like, "Do you guys
something.
have a lint roller?" And they're like, "No." And it's like, and Nick was like, "I'm wearing fucking Gucci and it's fucking pilling everywhere. And I don't look good." It was
So
funny. Obviously, it's not a big problem, but
no,
it's like, wow, that's
I
shitty as
think
fuck.
that is a big deterrent for me potentially from buying again. If I get like really bad pilling from a piece, I'll be like, man, what
In
is that?
person, in person, I feel like it's bad, but if you receive it in the mail and you
Mm,
get like, oh shit, you're in your house, you can change your shirt, throw it in
true.
the wash real quick, and then it's
Yeah,
done.
in
But
person, I can't imagine if I walked into a store and put something on like that and that happened. I'd be like, what is this?
yeah, most blanks don't pill. I think the Independent Trading Co. IND 4000 pilled maybe a little bit,
A little
but
bit.
everything else,
You
no
can
pilling.
expect a little bit
I'm
from
glad.
like cotton fleece.
Maybe a tiny bit. There's a
Yeah,
little bit of fuzz,
you're
but
like,
this one at the mall was so bad. It was like fucking. It was so bad. Tons of black spots.
So
There was
hopefully that
another.
won't happen for what you're trying to do in 2021. What was it? French
No. Oh
terry
yeah,
fleece.
that was the question. I forgot. Okay, yeah. So I'm doing the French terry fleece
Hmm.
sweatsuit. I'm waiting on that. I don't know if I want to do pre-order or if I
Risky,
want to.
risky. You saw what happened with Warren Lotus recently with his like shoes with the pre-order. Like,
That's different. I've been doing pre-order for my mask collection since the
okay,
beginning. His was different because he got sued. He copied his shoe. That's
yeah,
different.
that. Oh,
But he recovered. He recovered
he
very
did
well.
his marketing
He's,
campaign
he's so good.
with that guy
Warren is so
with
good.
the guy walking like I can't even remember how many miles it was.
Genius.
That was
Genius. LA.
so good.
So his Warren, I don't know if he has a team or if it's just him, but he's so good at PR
I
and
think
marketing.
I think he has to have a little team. Surely it can't be a one man gig. That's
One thing he did was you know how like his personality grungy, like skeletons and naked
love
girls,
it, love it.
motorcycles.
I got into it. The Las Vegas collection. That I think that was my
That was
first
me
one.
too.
Really?
I found
Okay,
it
yeah,
the first Las Vegas collection is when like as he was posting it, that's
yeah.
when I found him, and I'm like, I
Yes,
gotta get some
yes,
shorts.
yeah, yeah.
So
The
like he
shorts,
make
the
videos.
short. Yeah, 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 yeah.
He'd make
Iconic.
videos like, "What's up, you filthy motherfuckers?" Warren and all
I
that
do
kind of
remember that.
diction. He refers to his fan base as like the
The
fellas. What's
fellas.
up?
Yeah, yeah.
So he made a post wearing a suit outside of like Forever
I
21
do.
with like a
Yes.
document
Yeah.
saying like we're collaborating with Forever 21. I don't think they actually did it. I think he took that picture and then a couple days later he's standing outside of a store called Fallas, Fallas. Like and then he's like we're collaborating with Fallas. So I think he started with the Forever 21 thing to then lead into the Fallas thing, and then he started to referring to everyone as the Fallas.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a marketing campaign just to change the word on how he categorized us, his consumers or followers. I don't know, but his marketing is fucking genius. The walking thing, the
The walking
the ticket
thing.
scratchers to remedy the
That was
shoes.
really good. Yeah, he handled
He
that
made
really well.
videos. He made like a little skit with some old Italian dude for like a mob thing on
I
YouTube.
think. Yeah, I do remember.
Um, Yeah, I love if I could have Warren's marketing team, that'd be fucking great. See, so Seaggs has the sweatsuit. I'm doing a shoe collaboration with someone.
Okay.
I'm working on another collaboration with a brand. We're gonna do like a knit sweater, some t-shirts and hats.
Love
From
knit sweaters.
Magdalsade, waiting on another custom sweatsuit. It's gonna be distressed. It's gonna have chenille on it. It's gonna have little paint splatters and fucking shit. The biggest thing, which I can give a little hint to from Magdalsade, which is my I've been talking about this for so long, and I can't wait to finally see it in person. It's either gonna look really good in person or really bad, but I'm making a duffel bag,
Oh,
and
okay.
I have a clay model of what the duffel bag is the better side. A
It's
clay
gonna
model of what the
look
duffel
like
bag
that. That's crazy.
will look like. So it's gonna have 4 towers on either side.
Hmm.
It's gonna be leather. It's going to be about 20 inches long, 10 inches wide. So like a
Okay.
weekender kind of duffel bag. It's gonna have a drawbridge pocket where you
When you
unzip it, it
unzip
falls
it,
forward.
yeah, 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 I could see it.
It's gonna have embroidered stained glass windows all around it. It's being made right now. It's been in production for about a month and a half. They actually haven't started it yet. They asked me it's because it's super fucking complex.
That
It's
is
like
super. I'm trying to like. I'm visualizing it. That's crazy. That's absolutely
let me
crazy.
show you. Hold on, give me 30 seconds. Let me just send an image in the text so you can actually see. It's not done yet.
Do
So
you
give me a
have?
sec.
So are they working on the sample that you're gonna get?
Yeah, it's the very first one they're gonna make. It's a sample, but we're so the way they do it is they're asking me all these questions for what kind of do you want black or silver hardware? How do you want the duffel the shoulder strap? What about the
Hmm.
hand strap? What about
Hmm.
the placement for this? I sent them a 2D drawing.
Yeah.
My friend sent me he made 3D models, a
Yeah.
3D picture of it.
And
So
what
here's
what
the
kind of
screen.
hardware are you looking for? Silver or
The what?
the hardware? What color are you looking for the hardware? Silver hardware or
I was gonna do black. No, just black.
black on black? Black leather with black hardware?
Yeah, it's just gonna be all.
That's
It's gonna be
really
straight,
cool.
straight black.
They're crazy.
Um, I I don't think I have. Okay, I have a screenshot of the 2D image, but not the 3D model. I can get the 3D because I want to show you the 3D model. So here's the 2D image. Let me go to my other friend's chat on here because he has an image of the.
Okay. Wow, the stained glass. How is that gonna work? That's
It's embroidered. It's like embroidered thread.
okay. Okay.
Okay, so I have a better version of the 3D model here. I can show these. I'll take a screenshot of that. I'm going to send it to myself.
But I think that's gonna be huge. That like that this year. I think that'll get that'll get people talking about magdalsade. They'll be like, how, how?
I know this is such a complex bag. It's either going to look really good in person or really
Yeah.
bad.
If it works
So
out,
hopefully,
it's gonna work. It's gonna be really good.
the biggest issue with it. Here's a screenshot of my camera roll because there's so many pictures.
Mm.
And you can see a little backpack that inspired the towers that was made by another brand. You
Mm.
can zoom in. I don't know if it'll be super. I probably should have took a screenshot of one of the fucking pictures, but you can get the idea.
I get the idea. Yeah.
So, sample was very expensive. I don't
I can
care talking about,
imagine. I can. Yeah.
but
That's. Woo.
I'll just say. So the sample for the bag. So people go to the account and they see the medieval imagery, they see my animations, they see all the dark themes, and
Yeah.
they see the bag. And I feel like the bag would be a huge piece of marketing. In
Huge.
Avant, have you heard of Avant Space?
No.
How do you not? You're in streetwear. Okay, Avant Space. Avant Space has over 100K followers. They are like the main hub of like streetwear. Like any brand that wants to get some kind of exposure, you go there on Instagram. So every now and then there's like a brand that makes something that's like super innovative, super different. And we haven't really, well, I'm saying we as just like the general, I can't speak for everyone, but I haven't
Mm.
seen any new brand or product that really like is super innovative, like a new thing. And this is, I've
It
never
is.
in the picture you can see the backpack in the bottom right. That is made by a brand called Undercover.
Love
It's
Undercover.
it's reselling for like 2 grand, however many years
Undercover
ago.
Japan, right?
And I like the way the towers looked. So just looking at the towers, I built the entire duffel bag around those rectangular prism black towers. So in terms of the duffel bag with the drawbridge and the embroidery and the strap and everything, there's not really a precedent. Like it hasn't happened before. Um, I want it to look like a castle, but still function like a duffel bag.
Yeah.
The biggest this is still on the question of like the big things to come. This is the biggest one. So in terms of how the biggest thing was like, you know, when you hold a duffel bag, when you're holding the shoulder strap, the ends of the bag can like
Come
cave in a
in.
little bit.
Yeah.
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 So
Especially
I
when the
had to,
bag's bigger, it's more likely to cave in like that.
and most likely when people are using it, it might not be totally filled up with clothing or shit or
No,
laptop,
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
They have a little bit. Obviously, for pictures, I'll stuff it so it looks like full.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was the issue: was how do I add structure to the bag? Because if it's a castle, castles are pretty blocky. They're pretty square. They maintain their structure because they're made of fucking stone.
Mm.
So I had to find a way to, if you're holding the handle strap or the shoulder strap, how to
For it to
maintain the structure.
would it
So
just
I
be
came.
putting like a solid like panel of something on the bottom of it, or in the
That
like,
would help the bottom, but that
but
would
then the
still
top
make
of
the
it, yeah.
walls cave in. So what I came up with was, have you ever heard in school where if a teacher sang like Folger paper hot dog style or hamburger style? Okay, okay, okay. It must be an American
It
thing.
is definitely an American thing.
this is this is paper.
Yeah.
If they say hot dog style, you fold it lengthwise,
Yeah.
and it like a hot dog bun. And
Yeah.
if
Of
it's
course.
hamburger style, you fold it this way because that's the only other
That's the
food
only
that
other
does it.
food. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fold it this way. So how the structure looks is it's folded into almost like thirds like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on either side there are two metal magnets. It was their idea for the magnets.
Magnets.
I thought they were going to be like snap buttons,
Yeah.
but like on jacket, but they use magnets. So they're going to be magnets on the inside of the bag and this. So when you stick it in, the magnets snap. So now the walls stay straight. If I'm holding it, the towers can't bend inward
Mm.
because this is on the inside, preventing the fabric from
I'm
bending
betting it.
like that. So that solves the problem. But a new problem is I thought we'd be able to collapse the bag. Like as made of leather, obviously if it's collapsed like in mailing, you'd have to maybe use your fingernail to like pinch and like grab the leather towers and like pop them out again.
Yeah.
But it turns out they're using this as stability inside as like a separate thing. It's going to be made of like some really heavy duty plastic cardboard thing.
Okay.
They're also putting a type of it's called carton, like a milk carton, like
Mm-hmm.
really thick cardboard kind of paper. They're putting that on the inside of the towers and the inside of the bag. So I think the shipping is going to be very expensive because you
Yeah.
can't collapse
Just
the bag.
like purely based off size. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be like 21 because it's 20 inches. So maybe the box is going to be 21 inches long by 10.
Gonna
It's
be
going to like I don't even
huge.
I haven't even paid for the shipping yet. So
Yeah.
so who knows? So then I'll have to pay for shipping when I get the bulk order,
But
which
then
may be
also,
like
like that's the cost you have to undergo just to get it in hand to see how you feel about it, whether or not it's good once you get it.
I'm offer. It's also like I'm just venting now. So I'm also selling. Okay, no more of that. So I'm also selling $10 T-shirts. So when you're when you're doing pricing models, you probably don't want a $10 shirt and then a fucking
But
$700
you have the $10
duffel
tees
bag.
on like Seaggs though, right? And then magdalsade
I,
has.
I do both because people love $10 shirts. I got
They
so
do.
for my
They
second
do.
collection, I sold a bunch of the $10 shirts. So for the duffel bag, that's probably going to be its own collection. I'll probably make some items. I wanted to
Yeah,
make a hoodie and some cargo pants with the same castle imagery. So I want another
that could be
hoodie.
cool.
Instead of the kangaroo pocket, I want two towers and then the castle blocks with the same embroidered windows. And that'll be the cargo pocket, the actual castle on the hoodie, which I think would fit really well with the duffel bag. So yeah, the imagery is just so much easier for magdalsade. There's a concise aesthetic theme. With Seaggs, it's whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
I want
exactly. Yeah.
one of one stuff. That's why I think magdalsade I don't like tooting my own horn. I don't like blowing my own whistle. That sounds even worse. I just don't think that I think Magdal State has a lot of potential. And I'm not
Yeah,
just trying to say that to
having it
like
focused is
boost myself
probably
up.
a lot better for you because then you're not so open to, I guess it fitting the image or, I could do this or I could do that. You're like, this is the set focus. I can only stay within these bound
Yeah, like the
ability.
restriction of the medieval actually gives me a lot of freedom.
Mm,
Because with the Seek stuff, it's like, okay, I made these kind of one of ones for the last collection, but then I'm like overthinking, like, will those same people like these newer
yeah,
graphics? With the Magdalsade, just because it has a concise theme, if you're going into the brand, whatever you like for this collection, you should maybe like ish some stuff from the next collection because it's all cohesive,
but
the
that's
same kind of
crazy.
realm.
That's going to be huge for this year if it all works out. Like if
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bag all works out, that's going to be.
Like, if I receive the duffel bag, like knock on fucking whatever, dude. But if I receive the duffel bag and like something's wrong with it or like a measurement's off, it's the right thing to do would be to tell them like I want this to be changed and then get another sample made.
But that's all your
Which
money again,
I
though. Like you have to go.
well, so I think since it's already designed, I think the
It
second
would be
sample will be a
reduced.
tiny bit cheaper. We'll see. We'll see what I do. I don't have it in hand yet. I don't know how I'm going to package it and ship it to customers if I get any. I'll tackle that when I get there, but
Pre-order system is definitely, yeah, it's definitely gonna have to be.
like I need to stand up, dude. My fucking ass is numb. So what would be ideal? Like what I'm imagining for this bag, and I can already tell. I know that some checkmark influencers, whoever, athletes or
Check
models, or
mark
they're gonna be
influence.
they're gonna DM me and be like, "I want
I
a
want
bag."
it for free. Here's my address.
Right?
Send it
Like
my
it's
way, and then I'll
yeah,
never
but
do a photo. I'll just keep it.
it's not. If I send it, no, it's so cool looking. Everyone's gonna take a photo of it. I know. But it's like this is dangerous. Me talking like this because I don't want to hype it up too much
It's
and then be like,
yeah,
yeah,
because your envisionment of what you want is that, but whether or not that's
I
the actual product.
I know it is a blue check magnet. I do. It's so look what I'm like. Picture this.
Blue check magnet.
Picture like a tall ass like NBA player
Yeah,
walking walking out of a private jet on the tarmac,
yeah.
and like you know how like those guys, athletes or models outside of a private jet, people take pictures of them and they're like posing with their
Mm.
supercar or their duffel bag or whatever. And I just imagine like an NBA player holding the castle duffel bag, wearing like an all blacked out fit in front of like a private jet, and that would be a photo. Like it's a conversation starter. It's like I can't think of a piece that's as cool that comes from a streetwear brand. Like
Yeah,
I've
no.
seen Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton made a airplane
Yeah, did you see
bag.
that?
Have you seen that?
That was like $37,000 or something like that. It was crazy.
That is so cool. I think that's
I
appropriate
thought that
price
was
because
yeah,
the
no, I
Louis
thought so
Vuitton,
too, right?
but it's a fucking plane, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I don't know
And
how would you walk with it because the wings with the
they
wings.
stick out. And do the propellers spin? Like I know they're probably just leather strips, but they probably spin. Like
And
I
then next
was
year they're like Louis Vuitton tarmac, and it's just like a long strip of road
but it like
dragging through.
that's yeah, that plain bag was crazy. I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of people were giving it a lot of crap. I think that's just because Virgil's behind it, and the internet loves giving him a lot of crap because heaps of reasons.
it's cool, dude.
But
Like
I thought it was
they've
sick.
seen luxury brands like making cool little bags and shaped like things.
Mm.
Like I've seen some brand, I don't even know the luxury name, what they're called, but they made like a dragon, like a baby dragon purse, but it had like jewels
Well,
and
Gucci
Swarovski.
for their recent collection, I haven't looked into it too much, but I think their 100th year anniversary collection, they have little bags that are hearts or organs that are covered in crystals and stuff. I know I saw an ad on Instagram for it that someone was holding one of these bags. I think it was Gucci. I want to
If
say it
you
was
see it
Gucci.
again, send it to me. That
I'll
sounds
send it
amazing.
to you. Yeah, I remember it was a black heart covered in probably Swarovski. Um, and that was one of the bags. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. That's another one of these crazy designer bags where they just do random objects and random things and are doing that.
Another Dior has their saddle bag, which
Mm,
is such a clean shape.
it's
A brand called
iconic.
Amiri.
Yeah,
Have you heard of Amiri?
yeah, I know
So
Amiri.
they
The
have these
skinny
two
jeans, the
bags.
skinny jeans. That's how I know
Yeah,
Amiri.
they
Just
have they have a basketball bag where it's like I don't know if it's actual basketball material. I
mm,
think it might be, but it's like a sphere,
mm,
obviously,
just
and it's cut down the middle, and it opens up, and it's a clutch. It's a basketball. I'm like, that's fucking
that's
genius. He also
crazy.
made he also made a guitar. Imagine a guitar, but without the neck. It's just the
Okay,
shape
so
of
it's
the
just
guitar.
yeah.
I don't know guitars. I don't
No,
know if
I
it's a
don't.
strap.
I don't know.
It's the guitar where like one side's a little higher than the other,
Mm.
and it has like the hourglass shape, and then it goes in. It's just that, but that's the bag. I'm like, that looks so fucking cool. Punk rock, match that with any kind of fit. So like, if a bag is made correctly, it can just enhance a fit, or for a photo shoot, just fucking any. Put the bag on, take a picture, throw it away.
Yep.
Like bags are so useful. That's why, like, even if no one, like, if you make clothing, or I mean, like if you make like a collection of something and it doesn't it sells a little bit or it doesn't sell as well, you either hold on to that inventory or it was pre-made and then you just don't have any more and then you move on.
Yeah.
But with a bag like this, something this cool like my fucking duffel bag, whether I sell a lot or a little, it's marketing. That's what I've been clinging on to.
Yeah.
To
It'll yeah.
portfolio. If people reach out to me to design their own bags, fucking great. If that gives me more like publicity as a design, like I don't like being called a designer, but as
Mm.
someone who makes clothes, then great. But I'm just that should have been my whole answer for your question for 2021,
2020, just that
2022.
bag. That
Just
bag.
bag.
That's it.
Duffel,
Bag.
castle duffel, period.
So is there's no big plans for Seaggs? Just your one of ones, a casual collection every now and then.
The one of one stuff I have some other mass collection themes going on.
Mm.
I'm trying to because I feel like the potential for magdalsade. I'm not trying to shit on Seaggs. They both mean so much to me.
Of
Seaggs was
course.
the first brand I started, and since I have a following for it, it helps me get income, whether it's one
Mm.
of one or mass collector stuff, and that income helps fund both brands.
Yeah, of course.
So I feel like the future and longevity of magdalsade is stronger just because it's more cohesive as
Yeah, I
like a
was gonna
brand.
say, yeah, is it because
It's
of
like
its
more
like
whole.
focus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hyper focused. Yeah. So it's not efficient that I'm trying to grow 2 brands,
No,
but
well, it
it's
depends on how
just
you
the
split
way.
your time though.
Right, but it's also just the way things worked out. I
Yeah.
thought of this brand later, I thought of the story later, and things just kept clicking with the story and, like, the medieval imagery. I haven't really seen a medieval themed brand. There's
No,
different
that's
themes
what
of
yeah.
styles that people make. I'm sure they exist, but I guess medieval with, like, a streetwear darker twist to it. It's not all gonna be dark, but you know what I mean, like, streetwear medieval kinda twist.
And you're not doing
Um
it just in graphics as well. You're doing it in silhouettes. You're applying that medieval theme to the silhouette as well, like you were talking about with the castle hoodie and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not just the graphics.
yeah.
I have another idea for, it's a full zip hoodie, and
Hmm.
the only graphic is on the face, and
Hmm.
the logo for magdalsade is like a hand drawn like crest, like a shield with a little pointy top, like that. Shield.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be a crest on the face, but it's gonna be made of like 2 different types of leather,
I
and
was
then like
thinking
4
leather. Yeah,
4 different embroidered graphics. So it's like a family medieval royal crest
Yeah.
on the face, and like that's it. So I have some cool ideas on how I would make a video around that. I might release that with the bag, but like the luxury kind of feeling of the collection. I don't know. I haven't gotten those made yet, so
That's
we'll see.
so well. That's not necessarily really soon now in 2021, but maybe like further down towards the end of the year.
Yeah. So, but with writing the story for Magdalsade, since it's a story, there has to be continuity. It
Of
has to
course.
stay like the
Yeah.
plot can't be. It can't take too many twists and turns. So I already have like folders on my computer all the way up to like collection 12. But like collection like 9, 10, 11, 12, the folders may be empty, but I at least know what the theme will be about.
Yeah.
And that was the easiest part. Like, okay, I have this part of the story written. um the third collection can be about this, fourth collection can be okay, what happens after the third chapter, okay, this, and that could be the theme. And then I just name the folders, and then as I would come across graphics or have ideas or make something, I could make something for Magdalsade but not know where it goes, and then think, okay, where would this belong? Oh, this would go in collection 7 when this happens. So then I'm holding onto a graphic for like a year because
Yeah,
I
you
know
might
it
not be
goes
using it. It
on
might be
that.
sitting in in your archives for a
Yeah,
while.
there are times when I had like a writer's block for collection 3, which is coming out in May,
Mm.
and it's like, shit, I really wish I could use the graphics I made for collection 6, but
So,
I can't
yeah, because
because
you
it's
set
not there.
yourself in that. Yeah. Well, I honestly hope the bag works out well.
Me too.
That would
Me
be
too. Fucking me
huge. That
too.
would be huge. It's like,
Thank you.
yeah, well, visualizing what I think it is. Again, we'll have to see what it actually looks like when you get it in hand, and if you're willing to
What I'm gonna do is
disclose that as well.
I
Yeah,
don't know if I'll
exactly.
post I don't know if I'll post it in the actual my feed or if it'll just be on my story, but I'm gonna show the
Story is
first
probably
screenshot
safer.
I sent of the 2D drawing.
Mm.
I'm gonna go like 2D drawing to 3D clay model to the actual 3D model to the final bag. So it shows a little bit extra like effort, showing people like I really wanted to do this, and it
Mm.
went through all these stages to the final bag.
To the final bag.
Now, yeah, I'm super excited. Only a couple people know about this bag. Only people who ask about Magdalsade, I'll tell them about the bag.
Mm.
But I'm trying to keep it kind of.
And what collection were you envisioning that one for?
I wanted it to be for collection 4, which is after this next one,
So
which is
soon.
the royal collection when
Okay.
Sade becomes king.
King.
But if it's not done at that point, then
Can you delay that,
very-
or are you just going to
I
delay
can-
the collection indefinitely until you get it?
not the royal. So what I can do is I could either think of a collection to put in between collection 3, the one now,
Mm.
and then collection and the royal collection. I could find something in between that because I'm sure something might happen between Sade being in the academy versus the kingdom. Something must have happened. So I can think of something, and that's what it gives me so much flexibility because I can write the story however the fuck I want,
And
as long as
change
it
it.
keeps making sense.
Yeah.
Or I could just make it like a non-canon part of the story where it's just, oh, this is something I've been working on. This is just a product of Magdalsade, not part of the story. It's just more imagery for the brand. So I could go that way too. And I would like to pair the duffel bag with that castle pocket hoodie and
Mm.
castle pocket photos.
Yeah,
So that
that would
whole
work.
set.
Yeah.
Whole
yeah.
set. Maybe a hat with like little castle towers coming out.
Like the
Little ears.
there was
Fantastic.
Undercover did that recently. A couple collections ago, they did one with ears on it and stuff. I think it was for the Fallen Man collection. I think that was the one.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
So I'm not trying to. What?
The Samurai Fallen Man Undercover collection. That one. Did you see it at all?
Haven't. No.
It has hats with
Undercover.
ears on it.
Undercover makes some dope. Undercover and
Oh,
Capital.
Yes,
They
yes. I've literally
they
got
creative as shit stuff.
one of my favorite Capital pieces just sitting over there.
Can I see it?
You want to see it? It's the
Yeah.
it's the J weave.
I don't know.
I'll bring it. I'll show
don't
you.
know.
I'll bring it. I picked this up from up their store, which is an Australian. I think it's the only Australian boutique that actually sells Capital. But on the front, you have this gradient dyed quilt, which goes from the camera's not picking it up at all, but it goes from a gold down to like a green. You can sort of see it down the bottom.
I got it. Yeah.
It's got the quilt all throughout the inside there. And
Quilt looks so nice.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Down the sides of the
You need to wear that. You need to wear that with a wife beater and like a gold chain, and you'd be like part of the mafia, but like on your day off. With like a pinky ring.
Literally, yeah. And down the sides of the arm, you have a floral embroidery, which is on top of a velvet-like material on the back. You've then got all the famous surf spots in Japan on the back of it. That's like,
I love the blue.
Yeah, like, and it's all
the blue pots.
All embroidered on the back of the piece there. I can't remember which year this came out in, but I know that Up There got it like really, really late, and it was the only reason why I was able to pick it up, because everyone that wanted it already had it and picked it up. And then I saw it there, I was like, oh my god, that was from ages ago, I'll pick it up now. But yeah,
quilt is a good idea. Like quilt is like a very... I've never seen a quilted hoodie.
No.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I'll add that to my royal collection.
I mean, that's what I really love about Capital, especially, is that their willingness to try like all these like funky different materials for iconic silhouettes, like a hoodie or something like that. Some of my favorite pieces is like their hoodie with the like really oversized drawstrings that have the
like
eyes.
Bunch of them.
Yeah, there's that one as well. Yeah, but there's the smiley face one where the drawstrings come down and the eyes are printed on it. Have you seen that one? I've got it. I'll show you.
Okay.
I've got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know what you meant. That's creative.
So obviously, if you take that away, it's like just a face. You're like, what's going on? But then you bring them down.
That's really creative.
But the one thing I do have to like critique them on, that I was like very open about when I did a video about it, was we were talking about small hoods. Like, I don't know if I can showcase that. Look at that.
It looks pretty small.
From shoulder to there, it's really, really small.
Oh, like the height of the hood.
The height of the hood and just the width and everything. It's really, really small, but then the rest of the piece is oversized. Like, there was no consistency between...
The hood can ruin an entire piece.
It almost did. When I tried it on and it was like this small, I was like, damn, almost ruins it for me. But yeah, love Capital.
When you said thick drawstring, I was thinking of like
ropes.
In someone's... Yeah, I was thinking of like ropes you'd see on like a curtain, like a drapery curtain.
I've had an idea for that. I would love to see a brand do like industrial sized ropes as drawstrings for a hoodie. I think that would be really cool. They wouldn't be practical in any way. Like, it wouldn't tighten the hood, but it would just look really cool.
Oh yeah, because then you would have the thick ass rope going around it.
Yeah. You could do that with the for the curtains, like a castle curtains. You could have golden looking rope for the drawstrings of the hood.
Yeah, you could have some like crimson hoodie or like a tapestry hoodie.
Yeah.
But the rope would have to go like probably around the neck. I wouldn't want it like, because then it would look like an Eskimo jacket where it's like super puffy.
It would, yeah. Well, we talked about 2021. What some big things that you've got planned for it. Was there anything that you wanted to say before we cut it off? Where they can find, they can find you on IG and YouTube, and I'll link that all down below in the
my Instagram is byseaggs, byseaggs, and my other Instagram for Magdalsade is magdalsade, magdalsade, and my YouTube is Seaggs. You can watch my YouTube video. I don't know who's gonna watch this, but I make cool hoodie compare videos, how to find a manufacturer, how to get a wholesale account, just little things to help little small growing brands, or if you're just curious as a personal use person, you can get cool hoodie blanks. So yeah, thanks for having me. This was a really long, like organic, like productive conversation.
I tried to do like questions have a central idea, like a focused idea, but it kind of just went everywhere. which was a lot better. I think that was a lot better. Yeah. Anyway, it's good chatting with you.
Good chatting with you too.
And that's it, guys. That's our little, like, I don't know, 1 to 2 hour chat there. Obviously, I had to remove some of the stuff because he didn't want to discuss some of the details to do with his upcoming, collections and upcoming releases. Some stuff that had to be kept private, so I had to remove it. That's, at his request. I, felt like I had to do that, but it was fun. I had a good time chatting with him, good time seeing what he's up to, seeing what he's going to be releasing in 2021. Hopefully some of the stuff that we discussed is helpful to some guys out there that are looking to start their own brands. Hopefully that information was helpful to you, and next time I'll try and focus on more sticking to the questions that I have, instead of just like letting us both ramble and talk about, like, I don't know, everything. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I had fun. And that was the main thing. Even with like 6 hours of sleep and then doing that, I had a good time. It was a good time. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on it, guys. Head on down to that description section below as well if you want to give Seaggs a follow. But if you guys want to see more content like this, don't forget to leave a big old like on this video, a comment in that comment section down below, and the best indicator you can give me is to subscribe to that channel. Hopefully, with your continuous support, we can also reach the new subscriber milestone of 2950 before the end of April. We're only a couple away, guys, so subscribe today, and hopefully, before the end of the month, we can hit that milestone. But that's everything I really have to say. That was the whole little interview slash chat that I had with Seaggs. I'd love to know any of your thoughts and opinions on it down in that comment section below. But if you guys also want to, recommend me someone to get in touch with to see if we can interview them on the channel, let me know and I'll try and do that. But just let me know in that comment section below. But until the next interview video, until the next streetwear talk video, until the next sneaker talk video, guys, I'll catch you later.